Who do you think you are?
We're the Guardians of the Galaxy.
They're back.
We got Drax,
Die, spaceship!
Gamora, Rocket,
Awesome!
Own the DVD and Blu-ray the Galaxy has been waiting for.
Groot,
I am Groot.
He's so cute.
and me, Star-Lord.
Star Munch.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Do you need a hug? No, I do not.
On Blu-ray and DVD now.
What do you think of this one?
Skip.
Okay.
will jump straight over the field. I know it's right, oh baby, this is how I like to feel. I know it's right, oh baby, this is how I like to feel. I know it's right, oh baby, this is how I like to feel. I know it's right, oh baby, this is how I like to feel. I know it's right, oh baby, this is how I like to feel. Clocks are ticking all the time, but I can show you where to find all the colors of your dreams. The world is opened up to me. It's how we feel, this is how we ride, as we find our place in the afterlife. And if we don't, this is how we kneel. And I know it's right, oh baby, this is how I like to feel. I know it's right, oh baby, this is how I like to feel. I know it's right, oh baby, this is how I like to feel. I know it's right, oh baby, this is how I like to feel. I know it's right, oh baby, this is how I like to feel. You say you love me, but I don't think that it's true. It's all for you, all that I do. It's hard to escape all the problems in your brain, but it's okay. When things don't go your way, I said, girl, don't lose your faith, 'cause you won't always be alone. You're more said, girl, don't lose your faith, 'cause you won't always be alone. You're more than your mistakes. You'll always have a home in your heart, in your mind. Well, I saw in your eyes that I need to let go. I said, girl, don't lose your faith. Don't lose your faith. Running in circles, never leave me alone. Say I don't answer the messages or pick up my phone. Say we all need some time just to settle down. Won't you come around, 'cause I never can leave it alone. Tell me your story, but don't leave out the lies, 'cause I know I got some problems and I'm open to mine. So we all need some time just to settle down. Won't you come around, 'cause I never can leave it alone. Talking about somebody rolling Boulevard County, making it count for efforts I can't explain. Ballin' and feeling we drowning. Never been humbled by playing the fighter. Never been broken, never been bothered. Suddenly changing, thinking I'm never amounting to nothing. Been chasing a stereotypical fantasy, acting like everything happens for reasons. Still I just might hit. Been making me lose my mind, but telling myself why the hell did I write shit? When you sit there with your long legs, but bitching about something I don't know. Then you walk away realizing it's so predictable where we just won't go. And that's wedding bells in a chapel. Been nibbling on the wrong apple. Living life emotions you never can manage. They picking me out of a raffle. Number one heartache coming from memories. Number two pencil style. We straight now, going opposite ways. These opposite days are making me think what to say now, and that's real. Running in circles, never leave me alone. Say I don't answer the messages or pick up my phone. Say we all need some time just to settle down. Won't you come around, 'cause I never can leave it alone. Tell me your stories, but don't leave out the lies, 'cause I know I got some problems and I'm open to mine. So we all need some time just to settle down. Won't you come around, 'cause I never can leave it alone. Been coming in closer, been taking my time when they speeding off, writing and signing these deals they supposed to. I don't get motivation for something I wanna pursue, spitting hotter than toasters. Saturday grinding, I'm better off sitting back, mixing and chilling some fucking mimosas. Should we toast her, making $1,000 in my pocket? Like fine, that's good for me now. Or say fuck it, I'm taking my shit to some levels and bringing my friends overseas now. I can do it, but promise me every time I'll be down lower than hell. You digging me back to the surface, rocking the stage. You think I'm just cocky, but really I'm drowning inside, feeling nervous. Sound of the violin to the alarm clock. They waking me up when the harm stop. I'm dreaming we staying together, but honestly you kinda act like it's all games. And I'm tired of this, but it's sad 'cause I feel like you fine with this. And I'm mad as hell, but I cry for this. Just wasting my time, but it feels my game. Spit a rhyme to this, and that's real. Running in circles, never leave me alone. Say I don't answer the messages or pick up my phone. Say we all need some time just to settle down. Won't you come around, 'cause I never can leave it alone. Tell me your stories, but don't leave out the lies, 'cause I know I got some problems and I'm open to mine. So we all need some time just to settle down. Won't you come around, 'cause I never can leave it alone.
Alright guys, hello and welcome to the ECS CCC, aka the Development League. We are of course here for Fragsters up against Team Kinguin in a nice little best of 2 to start the day. And then as you could see from the earlier schedule, then we've got, I think it's North against Tricked coming up afterwards. And we have seen some of the games already start up in this series. So we have already seen some results come in for both of these teams. And so far, Kinguin have been struggling a little bit, to say the least, up until this point. They are currently 0 for 4 in the league. So it's not exactly a great start for them, but I'm sure they will be looking to recover as soon as possible. And I think they've got a good chance here against Fragsters, because Fragsters haven't been in great form themselves. They've got 2 draws so far. And I'd say it's probably fair to say they're one of the lesser known teams coming into this tournament. So it's fair, I think, to assume that Kinguin will still have quite a good chance here, even with their poor form up until this point. Of course, we saw Kinguin recently make a couple of roster changes. I think they switched things up a little bit, bringing Hyper in. So, you know, they've still got a little bit of time to try and adapt to that change, and maybe that's what we are waiting from them. In the meantime, Fragster's a couple of young Danish guys in there that are trying to work their way up in the scene, but there's just so much talent in Denmark, you know, there's so many good teams. Can be quite hard to break through. Either way, we're going to head underway into the knife round here to start things off. First map going to be on Mirage. We will get to see how this one will play itself out. It looks like Fragsters chose Mirage and Kinguin picked the second map, which will be Train. That's of course not as important in these best of 2s where it kind of gets banned down to these final few maps. We'll see the knife round go down. Back and forth, as always. Definitely excited to see how Kinguin perform with their recent additions. I still think this could be a positive change if they brought in Hyper to try and in-game lead, but we'll have to wait and see if that's how it works and if they have enough sort of fragging power. Because they were you know, always struggling a little bit in the past as well, I think it's fair to say. So as we get underway into the pistol round, let's see what Kinguin can do here on Mirage. They're going to buy up Kevlar across most of the lineup, with Hyper going for that defuse kit and a couple of flashbangs. In the meantime, Cyclone has got himself a smoke and 2 flashes, and we will get underway with Mouse peeking towards A ramp aggressively. And it looks like Fragsters are looking to try and hit this site quickly. So as the push comes through, we'll have to see if Mouse is ready for this one, because he doesn't have all that much support. Rowland is all the way back in CT, and that leaves him isolated towards the site, and Mouse already goes down early on. And now as the push comes through, you have to feel like Fragsters should be able to just overwhelm the site at this point. We will see Frostlef try and push forward, and he does find yet another kill for the terrorists as they continue to find frags all across the board right now. The A play has worked wonders for them, as Miku is the last man alive to at least find 1 frag for the Poles. Looks like it's going to be too little too late for this round at least, as Frostlef picks up a 4K and Fragsters pick up the pistol round win. Quite a standard strategy there for the pistol rounds, all things considered. Sorry, you know, oftentimes you will see, you know, a quick A play come through with the Glocks, and that can work out quite well. And I think you just kind of saw why. You know, I'm kind of surprised to see that Kinguin were playing so passively on the A site with one of their players while the other one was pushed up. Seemed like a little bit of a mistake there to have the 2 players so far away from each other. They couldn't really work off of each other well to try and hold the site. And now Kinguin will just be forced down to pistols. Of course, we've seen a bit of a rise of the CZs recently after a couple of the other pistols got slight nerfs. And the CZ can certainly be powerful at close range, and even at medium range. If you tap away with it and find some headshots, it can still be viable. So it's not as sort of one-dimensional as you might first think. Just going to come towards B for Fragsters. There are a few players stacked towards this site, and the pistols are actually finding some kills here as Hyper gets another frag. And there's only Frostlev left, and he will also lose his life. And just like that, Kinguin take the second round into their favour. That was a bit of a surprising round to go so heavily in favour of the CTs there. Just with pistols, they push... Oh, sorry, hold on towards that B site, and Fragsters' push really did not work out whatsoever. It was very surprising that Fragsters couldn't even really get any kills to speak of. And now it'll be Fragsters themselves on the back foot, but look at that shot from Cyclone. He opens things up with a great headshot on towards Rallen. In the meantime, though, Spiro will reply with one of his own with that recovered AK from the previous round. So that brings us just back down to a 4 versus 4. However, Spiro is still hungry for more as he gets another kill over towards Connector. It looks like the rifles now will come out on top for Kinguin. Frostlev towards ramp should go down. Mouse finds the headshot, and that just leaves Dragonfly left. So this round looks to be quite comfortable for Kinguin, as you would expect. Ooh, that nade doesn't quite go around the corner. The Dragonfly still goes down. Who do I think is going to win? It's a pretty tough one just because Kinguin have been in such bad form, but I still think I give the slight edge to Kinguin. Like, just because, you know, you would think their players are more skilled. I could definitely see it ending up being a draw, though, for sure. I didn't really get to see that many of the Kinguin games they lost either, so it's quite hard to say what's gone wrong for them so far. So I'm interested to see if Kinguin make any sort of really big mistakes that I can notice. See, Fragsters, I think, realise this round isn't that likely to be successful, although maybe dropping the Glock there from Stavern was an attempt at a fake, because the bomb is currently over towards B. It's just 5 Glocks in this round, pretty much, for Fragsters, except for the one P250 bought up. So I don't think they will be expecting too much. Shapiro will open things up. That's Stavern who goes down. However, none of these B players have rotated off, so it should be quite an easy hold. Hyper tries the spray down, but Cyclone actually got a quick trade through. Shapiro, however, rotates over and cleans things up well. So a little bit sort of questionable for a second there for Kinguin. However, they managed to clean things up eventually, only losing a couple of guns on the round. Only 2 guns lost, so that's not too disappointing. And now heading into this 5th round, we finally get to see a proper full buy for both teams. And this is what you really want to see, because let's have a look at how Fragsters will play. Fairly often you will see teams go for mid-control early on, and that seems to be what they are trying to go for. However, there's a fair few players positioned towards mid from Kinguin, one of them being Rallen in towards window. Fortunately for him, his comrade will fall. Shapiro gets dropped by Dragonfly's AWP early on. So already the AWP making a difference early in the round. As the smoke fades, some shots fired, and that allows Mouse to come out on top and bring us down to a 4-on-4. Looks like in the meantime, both the Mouse and Rallen went down low. So they've decided to go for some aggression, take a gamble, gain some information here, and Mouse will do just that. And that's allowing the rest of Kinguin to gamble on this stack over towards the B site. So I like this idea from Kinguin. Considering they have 2 players so low on health, I feel like taking a risk is certainly not a bad idea. But unfortunately for them, it seems like the risk they have taken to push Palace hasn't really got them the information they needed, because there's a couple of players in towards ramp. But actually, look at Hyper go aggressive as well. He could be the pivotal player in this round. He's coming through all the way for the flank. And let's see if Cyclone hears these steps. I think he has. He swings out, and actually Hyper wins that fight. And that puts Fragsters in a really awkward position now. They're kind of sandwiched in from both sides with the bomb stuck in towards A slope. So they decide to just try and execute on towards this A site. And I think they will just about be able to gain some control. But you can see Kinguin's still quite well positioned to stop this push. And that is a perfect flashbang for Mouse to get a kill of his own. There's Hyper coming in for another one. Despite all of the damage done on towards the Kinguin players, it looks like Fragsters will still have to concede the round. Dragonfly will just save his AWP. Really nice stuff from Kinguin there with the aggression. I'm definitely a fan of when you've got 2 players so low on health. Just kind of, you know, letting them go for some information plays. Even though it's a risk, if it works out in your favor, then it can really, really help the team. I like how you were commentating the game. Hey, thanks, man. GoTV. If you check your email, it's the most recent email sent should have this IP in it, rather than the North Gambit one. I think they only want it to be for people like who have applied to the caster challenge thing. I don't exactly know how that works. I don't know if I can give it out. Either way, we're going to see Dragonfly with an AWP in his hand, saving this from the previous round. So let's see what he can do with it. He's currently leaning over towards the B apartments. It seems like they're just going to explode on towards this site, and if Dragonfly could get a kill or 2, that would be great, but Mihu finds 2 frags on the hold. There's still 1 player towards the site. It's Hyper holding at the back, but Cyclone takes him down. And now the bomb will be planted in a 3-on-3. And Kinguin might be a little bit worried because they're not in great positions for the retake just yet. Rallen, however, is pushed up. He gets the 1 kill, and that should make all the difference. as he continues to push through, and that is a ridiculously quick 3k from Rallen. I didn't realise that nade landed perfectly up in towards B-Apps. And Rallen with a nice little 3k gets another round for Kinguin, and it's looking good for Kinguin at the early stages here. They get up to a 5-1 lead, they have a little bit of money built up, and even a double AWP setup in their hands now. So Fragsters will now be back on a buy, including an AWP in the hands of Dragonfly. He's going to go over towards Palace for the time being. Elsewhere you can see Spiro having one of the AWPs alongside Rallen, interestingly enough, over towards B Apartments. And they're going to leave Rallen solo holding this site with the AWP, with a little bit of support from Mihu, who's also watching towards mid. So that's something that's quite common to see on Mirage, where you can feel comfortable with the AWP holding that long range angle and asking for a rotate. And if Fragsters were to go towards B, I think they should be aware of that. However, it seems like for the time being, they're not that focused on B. Instead, they're going to try and go for mid control, and that has worked out well for them. Hyper tries some aggression early on. That doesn't work out for Kinguin. And now down in a 4-on-5, it seems like they are going to try and go for a bit more aggression. And again, Mouse is timing this quite well. Gets up close. Ooh, Dragonfly misses that first shot. Luckily for him, Torben had his back for the trade. So the Danes will keep their man advantage, but that's some good information for Kinguin because they spotted the bomb in towards ramp. And that peek was a bit ill-advised from Torben there. They didn't have the nades quite lined up. And that's going to drop the bomb down as Mihu finds another kill. And Fragsters have really thrown away their advantage here as Spiro finds yet another shot. And the double AWPs do all of the damage in this round. Again, well played from Kinguin there to close that out, but you have to feel like Fragsters did make a couple of mistakes in that round. You know, there wasn't really a need to peek out from ramps so early there. I feel like instead, you know, they could have just waited a little bit longer, you know, lined up a couple more flashbangs. Even a Molotov would have been useful. The only issue was they didn't really have any smokes left, so that made it difficult for them to try and execute towards the site. However, yeah, as we take a little technical pause for Kinguin. Apparently Mihu's got a problem with his mic, but yeah, we're going to see 6 rounds in a row now for Kinguin. Really starting to build up that winning streak. And again, Fragsters themselves are just down in an awkward position where they can't really buy fully. Like, they could get a few AKs if they did go for a proper buy, but they just wouldn't have the utility they needed. And especially when you're up against the double AWPs, it's so important to have that utility, to either smoke them off or flash them out of their positions. Because otherwise, you're just kind of walking into those AWPs at long range angles. It's going to be basically impossible to win that fight unless you land an insane shot. So it does look like Fragsters will go for pistols, as I was hoping for. Now the question becomes, how much do they want to invest into this round? Considering their big losing bonus, you would expect them to be willing to invest a fair amount. And they will buy up quite heavily here. You can see pistols on every single player, as well as a couple of nades to work with. In the meantime, Rallen with his AWP is over towards B, and he's just lining up a deep smoke there, I think. I don't think it's going to be too important in this round, because Fragsters seem to be going for an A split. But yeah, nice deep smoke from Rallen will allow him to rotate off, because you can see Hyper has, in the meantime, pushed all the way through. So that was really nice to see. In the meantime, the AWPs open things up, and Rallen rotating off does find a kill. Cyclone also goes down, as does Stavin. So clean round win for Kinguin, not losing a single player to the pistols. And I'll be interested to see how often Rallen goes for that deep smoke. You know, you saw he was lining up the smoke from here to go all the way over the top, deep in towards B Apartments, and allow his teammate to push through for information early on, which was a really cool idea there. The only issue is, if a rush came towards the site, they could be in a little bit of trouble. But you'd expect that's why they had the second player there. That's why Hyper was ready to try and counteract a rush if he needed to. Looks like Rallen's gone towards mid in this round, so they won't go for the same deep smoke. Instead, Hyper might go for some aggression towards B Apartments all by himself. He's just going to play this aggressive angle rather than pushing through any further. Meantime, some nades are coming out towards A, and Fragster's going to switch up the pace of their play just a little bit as they go a bit faster on towards the A site this time. Rallen is behind that triple box, and there is a player under wood. So as the push comes through, Fragsters are going to have to clear out those positions, and that is a very well-timed peek for Torben to get the first kill. Mouse is still alive under wood, but they know exactly where he is. However, Mihu is here to support his teammate. They can't quite set up the crossfire, however, still, there is Mihu trying to hold off and anchor this site, and he might do just that, but Dragonfly, all the way from mid, finds the kill through the box. That must have been an insane kill. And that leaves Hyper all by himself 1-on-2. He swings out, takes the first fight, and there's no support from Dragonfly. That allows a 1-on-1 to go in Hyper's favour, and he leaves himself now with a great chance to pull off this clutch. Spots out the player, the jiggle peek comes through, but Hyper wins the 1-on-2. And again, Fragsters, just as it looks like they're about to win a round, they can't quite close out the clutch. That's been a real issue for them so far, you know. They get it down to a good position, and then they're not really working together all that well. We see it come through yet again, and now Fragsters really seem to be starting to struggle. I think it has to be said, you know, maybe the mental game is getting to them a little bit, because you see here, Frostlev has invested all his money into this AK, whereas the rest of the team have just gone for pistols. So clearly a bit of miscommunication, maybe a bit of frustration coming out of Frostlev there to go for this buy. Oh my god, Mouse has it lined up. Pull the trigger, Mouse, just do it. You know you want to. Oh, there it is. He gets the kill and the second before he goes down. I think the smoke was just fading as Mouse got that first kill. And that made all the difference as Rallen over towards mid will hold true, although it takes a while to pull out that CZ. And that's why you don't see that as the secondary all that often. That's going to cost him his life as he couldn't pull out the pistol in time. Which comes through. Mihu manages to successfully transfer his spray. So just Dragonfly left. And it looks like this round number 10 will go in favour of Kingwin for them to keep their winning streak alive. Ever since they won that force buy on the second round, it's just been plain sailing for them so far. They haven't quite guaranteed this round win yet though. Dragonfly could maybe pull off some insane play. But with 30 seconds left and the bomb not in his hands, that is not going to be an easy feat. Oof, nearly the first headshot there, but Spiro replies with the AWP. And we'll take a quick look at the frags up until this point, because what's been quite impressive here is that Kingwin have really evenly spread their frags all across their team. No one particularly sort of outshining anyone else so far. Whereas a quick look at the Fragsters side, you know, they've been getting at least some kills in some of the rounds and bringing them a little bit close in the buy rounds. But it's never good when you've got 0 kills after the first 10 rounds. I don't want to call out Stavern too much because, you know, everyone has a bad game every now and then. But you do have to get some kills at some point in this game, as it turns out. Looks like we will see Cyclone call for the pause. So it looks like this time it's Fragsters who have the technical issue themselves. Of course, at the same time as this game, we've also got North versus Gambit going down in the Development League, and I think that one is a little bit delayed, I guess, because it hasn't quite started yet. But yeah, those are certainly two of the teams you'd expect to do pretty damn well in this league. So you've got to watch out for those two teams in this Development League as well, of course. Either way, Fragsters with the full buy, except for a UMP on Cyclone, which is a little bit of an issue, you could argue. Other than that, they are looking good, and they're going to go for a proper full A execute early into the round. But Spiro, again with the AWP, gets the first kill on the hold, and they just cannot handle Spiro's AWP right now. The push has come through towards the site, and the smokes have allowed them to gain some control. However, they're not able to get the bomb planted just yet. And that could allow Kingwin to get back into good positions as Froslev just caught completely off guard by Mouse's position. And you can see now Fragsters really have not gained the control they need towards the site. They've just sat back while their teammates push through and trying to gain the A site. And what can they even do from this position? It's just such a terrible spot to be in. I think they really needed to commit to that push and allow their teammates to gain control. Instead, now the Danes will look to try and push out towards A. You're going to see Torben at least swinging out for one one-on-one fight, and he does win it. But it's not exactly easy from this point onwards. Rowland does win that fight, and that should make it quite easy at this point for Kinguin to secure the round win. Although Cyclone over in Connector just found a frag in the back, and there's a second on towards that UMP. Mihu actually takes that fight on just 8 HP. That was quite a heavy risk to take that one-on-one duel there. It wasn't really all that necessary. But clearly, Kinguin are feeling confident right now with how many rounds they've won in a row. And they have a reason to be. 10-1 now, 10 round wins in a row for the Poles. And I think you can sort of smell the desperation starting to come from the Fragsters side as they go for another force buy with quite weak weapons. They do at least have the 3 AKs to play with it though, and you know, not bad nades, so they could still maybe get something done. Some nades go over towards A. In the meantime, Hyper's rotated off, but he didn't quite spot out the player there. Push comes through, but Hyper wins that first fight, and again the bomb is dropped down early on. Spiro finds another kill, and there's just not enough team play from the Fragsters players. They're just going down one by one, not really ready to try and trade off of each other. The bomb is dropped straight out in the open. And it has to be said, this T side has been a bit of a shambles for the Fragsters lineup. Jump peak comes through, but Rallen denies it as he finds the head. He's going to try and get another kill, and he will do just that as Cyclone loses his life. Nice little face flash, forces Stavin to look away, and Rallen continues to just bang off those heads. He gets a third kill. And I think Kinguin must be feeling now that this is their chance to finally take their first map win here in the Development League. Remember, Kinguin have played 8 maps before this one, and they lost every single one of them. And finally, it seems like some of their issues might be sort of fading away a little bit. Maybe they found some improvements. Pete comes through. Spiro easily wins that first fight. Of course, Fragsters have finally decided to just go for pistols after so many round losses and awkward force buys. So they will try and get it done with the Deagles in this round. Mid control seems to be quite easy to gain for Fragsters. But then after they gain control of mid, it's quite difficult for them to do anything else with that. Push comes out, there's Spiro to get a nice shot with the AWP. Again, that's his second kill of the round, and he's been very prolific with that AWP so far. So, you know, good accuracy with that big green gun. Easy shutdown on the B push as Mihu closes out another round. And Fragsters really could do with winning a gun round at some point here. I mean, it's really not been going great for them, to say the least. We will now see actually Hyper pick up that second AWP. I think because he's got a good spawn, he's decided to go for this one. Because we did see Rallen go for that secondary AWP previously. In the meantime, Spiro will look towards window and peek out towards mid. Smoke came through. In the meantime, Hyper is holding passively towards B, surprisingly enough. You can see Fragsters aren't really going for too much early aggression. They're happy to just sit all across the map and try and see if Kinguin maybe get a little bit too overconfident. Because that's certainly a possibility here. I wouldn't be surprised to see some Kinguin players make a few sort of questionable plays with some solo aggression with how dominant the scoreline is so far. So I think Fragsters are trying to maybe see if that happens. However, Kinguin for the time being are playing very disciplined, just sitting back in positions they have been so far standard playing. And already you can see Mal's in that position over towards Palace, finds another kill. He is just loving that spot right now. Rallen goes for some aggression towards mid, and again the Fragsters players are just all spread out across the map. I think the crux of the issue for Fragsters has just been they haven't been able to work off of each other. You know, it seems like they're really heavily reliant on trying to win those one-on-one fights. And it's really not worked for them, as Torben is the one man left. And he will go down to the pistol. You know, it's pretty hard to commentate games like this at this point, because I think we all kind of know that it's almost guaranteed that Kinguin will come out on top, at least in this first map. But remember, we have still got a second map to play here, so it might not all be over all that easily. Train will be coming up after the break, so make sure to stick around for that one. This one certainly isn't guaranteed to be over just yet. Seems like Kinguin might be trying to play maps with those double orbs. I mean, you see consistently they're buying the double orbs here on Mirage. And heading into Train, that's certainly a map you can also run the double orbs on. Looks like Fragsters in this final round of their first half will try and go for another A execute. And this time, they have got the proper nades lined up over the top. Let's see if they properly commit to this push. Peak comes out. Spiro gets the kill with a bit of help from Frostlev on the team damage. There's another one for Spiro, who's going huge in this round. He's looking for another. Oh my god, Spiro finds 4. And even when Fragsters try to go for an A execute, it just gets ripped apart by the Kinguin guys. Really just a brutal first half there, has to be said. That last round, I think, sums it all up. Spiro completely shuts them out of it. You saw the team kill come through there, which I think also sums up Fragster's first half, with how it's been pretty grim for them up until this point. Either way, we'll have to see if they can at least, you know, put up a fight in this second half, considering how far behind they are. 14-1 at half-time, and Fragsters are going to need this pistol round just to keep themselves alive, really. Looks like Kinguin have still brought up some nades here. Hyper and Rallen investing into the utility. Push is going to come out from mid from Kinguin. And it looks like they're trying to split this B site. And Torben is going to be in a tough spot here. He's having to hold off towards short. Gets the 1 and the 2 kills. Finally, Fragster's getting something going as Torben gets a 3rd on the round. Dragonfly still towards the site. Finds a kill of his own. And finally, Fragsters will pick up another round. And they have won both pistol rounds in this game, despite being down 14-2. Now they do need to make sure that they don't lose this force fight like they did in that first half. We saw Kinguin win with the pistols. Let's see if Fragsters can deny that this time. You can see they realise the position they are in, which I'm a big fan of here, you know. There's no need for them to go for a lot of SMGs. They're so far behind, they might as well just make sure they can win every single round going forward, because that's what they need to do. So they've just gone for the rifles to try and guarantee the win here, at least for this round. And they will be up against 5 Desert Eagles on the Kinguin side. One of them being in the hands of Hyper, who finds a little bit of damage early on, up against Cyclone, who decides to play it a bit more safe. He's one of the guys that went for the UMP in this round, so he might want to look to play things a bit safer and let his teammates with the rifles come out on top. But you can see he doesn't really do that. He's just caught completely off guard by Rallen over in towards Palace. And that's a bit of a rookie mistake there, you know. You have to be aware that's a position that can be pushed. And just not be exposed from it, you know, especially with a UMP. You don't want to be taking that fight at that long range. And another mistake from Fragsters gives Kinguin the early advantage. However, certainly not guaranteed that they will come out on top just yet. They only have that UMP recovered alongside the Deagles. But Rallen's Deagle can certainly do some damage as he finds a headshot and a second one. Rallen is just going in as he gets a 3rd. And this round might just be over because Torben is left 1 on 3. And Rallen might be going for that ace. Torben is going to come in from ramp. But let's just stick with Rallen because this Desert Eagle might find all 5 kills in this round. Torben slowly making his way forward. Doesn't look like Rallen's that aware of his position, but that's because Miku's holding this angle. He goes down and Torben will push towards the site. He's got to be giving away his position here. Rallen goes for the peek. It's actually Hyper to steal away the kill. Kinguin take a 15-2 lead. And this might be a ridiculous scoreline because considering Fragsters, won both pistols, they might lose 16-2, which is just kind of mad to think about. I don't think I've ever witnessed a game like this. Fragsters will, of course, go for the force buy. They've got to win 13 in a row just to bring us to overtime. And somehow, I don't think that's going to be too likely. Of course, the hardest round for them to win would probably be this one, where they've got the weaker buy up against the full rifles of Kingwin. So, you know, that's something that they can try and say to themselves to give themselves a little bit of a confidence boost. Seems like Shapiro snuck his way in towards Connector. He might be getting a fight soon because Froslev is just around this corner. Shapiro not quite able to spot out the shoulder. Ooh, this is a little bit awkward, isn't it? Both players just looking at each other, but they don't realise they are both on the other side of the walls. Either way, with a minute left, seems like Kingwin happy to just take this round slowly, which is good to see up against the weaker buy, and they will now go for a quick A play. Pushing through Connector, 4 players need to gain control here, and they will be able to do just that as Hyper and Rallum find some kills between them. Here comes Mihu trying to win this fight, and I think they will have gained control of A because Cyclone is forced to fall back. Bomb goes down, Shapiro goes aggressive, and Stavin and Torben will be left to try and salvage this round. That's at least a couple of kills for them, but Stavin 1 versus 3 I think will be going out here. He has got an AK, but that is not going to be enough. Rallum finishes him off, and Kingwin take this first map 16-2, an incredibly dominant showing here on Mirage. But make sure to come back for Train, because you never know, that could be a closer map. Sometimes that's how it works in CSGO, you know, you just can't get something rolling on one map and then it works out for you in the second one. So make sure to stick around for that. We will be back here on the Hawker channel with map number 2 after the break.
Could swear it's been 700 degrees in here since you came in. I could swear that this room has been running out of air, and now it's starting to spin. You make me feel kinda bad, kinda good, kinda everything, yet it doesn't feel like it should. You make me feel kinda wrong, kinda right, kinda anything, and I would change it if I could. I'm fainting, I think I'm losing my sight. I swear I'm hitting the floor. I could swear that my stomach just sunk a meter. I'll be dead if I take any more. You make me feel kinda bad, kinda good, kinda everything, yet it doesn't feel like it should. You make me feel kinda wrong, kinda right, kinda anything, and I would change it if I could.
The night lay waste to all we'd given, but honestly, you've gotta know that this ain't living, but we could run from Elysium and let it burn, let it burn. You've gotta know that nothing lasts forever. I can't believe myself. I never thought that this would be our end, but it's nothing new. And my lover's honesty, I can push it back down if I have to. If you want me to, 'cause we can run. The stars that fall all for you. So tell me now, what's left to lose if we run?
Welcome back to Kingwin up against Fragsters in the ECS Season 4 Development League. As always, my name is Hawker to bring you the action for today. And we just saw what has to be described as a bit of a stomp, I think it's fair to say, with Kingwin taking the first map 16-2 back on Mirage. And don't forget, by the way, that Mirage was in fact Fragsters' map pick in this best of 2. So that doesn't exactly bode well for their chances heading into Train here. But again, remember, in this sort of best of 2 format, you know, it's basically banned down to the final 3 maps, and then both teams choose one of those. So it's less important which map was chosen by each team. It's kind of like both teams just ban the maps they really don't want to play, or the maps they think their opponents are really strong on, and then you just kind of play the middle maps, if you like. So still not exactly great for Fragsters, but at least, you know, it could be worse, I guess, you know? They could have literally gone out 16-0, and they did win both pistol rounds, which is actually something they could really build off of. If they can head into Train here and win the early pistol, that would be such a, you know, useful tool for them to, you know, maybe gain some confidence on this second map. And they've certainly had some time to reset things. Sort of think over what went wrong for them back on Mirage. Looks like we should be getting ready to get back into the second map any second now. And it's kind of hard to predict after the first map is so one-sided. And it's kind of hard to try and say that you think Kingwin will lose this. But I think we could certainly see a closer map. The only issue is that, you know, Kingwin have, you know, shown they like that double AWP setup. And that worked very well for them back on Mirage. And Fragsters didn't seem to particularly have a good response for that. So I'm interested to see if they can now improve on that and have a better response here. Or if we will still see them struggle against those double AWPs of Kingwin. Of course, I think it's also important to see what side both teams start on, because you kind of felt there that Fragsters on their T side were just really poor, and maybe if they just started CT, they could have picked up a few more rounds. You know, it certainly felt like their team play was off a little bit, you know, in terms of trying to hit the sites together on their T side there. So I think if they started CT side, that might make things a little bit easier for them. You know, just sit back, try and make sure you can land some shots on CT and get some rounds together. And then hope that they can actually have a slightly better terrorist side than the previous map. And it looks like both teams are ready, so we will head into the knife round. And this is quite an important knife round, I think, all things considered. Now, oftentimes I really don't rate, you know, starting on either side all that highly. I don't really give it all that much importance. But in this one, I think Fragsters really are going to want to start on the CT side. You know, not only is Train quite CT-sided to start things off, you know, it's certainly less CT-sided than it used to be, but it's still, you know, I'd say like a 9-6 is probably fair for the counter-terrorists. But also, you know, Fragsters had such a poor T-half earlier that I don't think they'll want to be starting on the T side again, but it looks like they might be, because Kingwin just steamroll that knife round. And they do decide to stay CT side, as is standard. So we will see Fragsters have to play starting on the terrorist side again. And let's see if this pistol round can work out for them. I said that was another critical factor. If they can win this pistol round here, that might do a lot to just settle the nerves, as well as, you know, get them into this, you know, second map a little bit easier after such a poor performance earlier. We will see to start off the round Torben and Cyclone buying up some nades between them, as well as a P250 dropped for Stavin. In the meantime, Kingwin have still gone for the defuse kit on towards Spiro, rather than Hyper. They've gone for it on Spiro this time, which is a little bit strange, but certainly not out of the realms of possibility. Looks like the push is actually coming in towards B as we speak from some of the Fragsters players, including Dragonfly and Stavin, sorry, who's gone very aggressive, but look at the rotate. Oh, this is a masterclass from Fragsters. Kingwin have fallen for this one. Hook, line, and sinker. The bomb is going to be planted on towards A, and Kingwin, I think, will realize how foolish they have been to all rotate so incredibly quickly. And this round becomes almost unwinnable for Kingwin now. A 5-on-5 retake of the A site. And how did this go so incredibly wrong? There's Stavin to get the first kill. And the rest of Kingwin are trying to push their way through, but you can see the desperate pokes coming in as Frostlev finds 2 kills. And this one might just be over before it's even really begun, as Mihu will be the one man left. They did at least have the defuse kit, which made it slightly possible, but Fragsters are just so well set up on that A site. And then a nice little smart pistol round there. You know, the fake towards B worked very, very well. They got a bit fortunate that they were able to push out B so quickly and sell the fake so well. But Kingwin, you know, oftentimes I think when I've seen them play, they don't really watch that ramp all that aggressively on the pistol round. You know, not feeling all that confident with just the USPs to hold that angle, with only really one player being towards B. And that forced the rest of Kingwin to feel like they were obligated to rotate over. Either way, they still need to make sure they win this round, because we've seen Fragsters previously struggle against these pistol buys, and this is the reason why. The Deagles for Kingwin have been so strong today. Mihu and Spiro find a kill each. At least another one back for Frostlev brings us down to a 2-on-3. Dragonfly needs to win this fight, and he does just that as he takes Rallen's head off, but in the meantime, Hyper does exactly that himself on towards Frostlev. So now Dragonfly is left on a 1v2. Mihu's getting up close and personal with the Deagle to finish things off. And this is almost feeling reminiscent of that previous map, because Kinguin did exactly that to Fragsters, won that force buy, and then just really went to town on their CT side. So it looks like we have got, again, a cheeky little problem with the mics for Mihu. Hopefully we can get that fixed as soon as possible, because I want to see if Fragsters can actually get something done on their T side here, in the gun rounds at least. Still, I mean, again, Fragsters have been really good at winning the pistol rounds. We've seen them win all 3 pistol rounds up until this point. And you can see Frozlev making a little bit of a joke about that as well. Good to see the players have a little bit of fun, be a little bit upbeat. As we all head into round 3, straight back into the action with Dragonfly on towards that scout, having the one sort of primary weapon for Fragsters, the rest of them just with those secondary pistols. In the meantime, Kinguin have decided to invest into a couple of M4s, because they didn't quite save the AK at the end of the previous. In comes a quick trade, as Kinguin actually went aggressive out towards B, and that's allowed them to gain a lot of information, as Rallen taps off another head at long range with the FAMAS. That boosted position is quite strong there to try and look in towards that sort of T-main area early on. And Rallen proves that as he finds a kill. Oh, hello. Here comes Hyper on the edge of the smoke. I was going to say, he's not going to want to stick around there for long with that M4. He decides to back off, and now as the peek comes out, Frozlev takes his head clean off with that Deagle. And that is certainly a rifle that's recoverable for Fragsters as Stavin gets that into his hands. Push is going to come out. Rallen finds that one kill, and that is a big kill to get, because now Kinguin can feel a lot more comfortable on their A-hold, especially as Mihu finds a frag of his own. In the meantime, though, oh, I didn't see that on the minimap there. Cyclone, it's been a little bit sneaky there as he snuck the bomb on towards the B site. He does lose his head to Mouse, but the bomb plant gives Fragsters a little bit of extra money. It's not going to be all that relevant, I don't think, in the grand scheme of things, as, oh, did Kinguin realise the bomb's towards B? I think finally Mouse has figured it out. And he will get the defuse. I think maybe Kinguin were just looking to upgrade their rifles there. And I think Mouse might miss out on a FAMAS, but it's not going to be all that important. They will just save the 2 M4s, and we will see Kinguin take the 2-1 lead. So Fragsters now, even with the bomb plant, don't have enough money to buy, but that has given them, you know, a little bit more of a comfortable economic position to buy up into the next round. So they are happy to go for a couple of Desert Eagles, a bit more of an investment than you might have otherwise expected. So that's always a nice little positive. However, they do now have to contend with the AWP of Spiro holding on towards this B site. Quick B play could work out quite well, though. If Spiro is smoked out, it's not easy to get those shots. However, there's no smoke in the hands of Fragsters. Luckily for them, they force him off of the position, so as the push comes in, Spiro might struggle to find these kills. He's missing shots here. Finally, Spiro gets that frag, and the rotate has come over, so Dragonfly will be the only man left. Looked a little bit dangerous for a second there, but Kinguin get the rotate over in time. And Kinguin will take the quick 3-1 lead, but here we go. Fragsters have a buy in their hands. Can they finally win a gun round in this series? Who the hell knows? We'll have to wait and see. They don't quite have the AWP, but the 5 AKs is still certainly enough in terms of firepower, you would think. Spiro himself is going to AWP over towards Ivy, which is quite a standard position for him to play with that AWP. He really likes going towards that spot and just playing it quite passively. And considering Train is a map where AWPers, you know, can switch up their positions, I would like to see Spiro, you know, change that up every now and then. But for the time being, he's certainly fine with playing towards that area. You can see actually Spiro thinking about switching it up. He might go back towards the site instead. He's actually going to rotate, sorry, all the way around to B. So I don't mind this from Spiro, you know, taking the gamble. If Fraxis have done their research, they might be aware that Spiro often AWPs over towards Ivy. And it's good to see that he's got, you know, a few more positions in his back pocket to use up. That does leave the A site a bit more vulnerable, especially when there's 3 angles you have to hold from. This can be quite difficult for only 3 players to hold off. However, Rallen makes it look easy as he gets the first headshot on a nice little bit of aggression towards A main. Didn't really commit too much to the push, but just went for sort of an aggressive off angle. And oh no, Cyclone burns himself alive as the push comes through. That allows Mihu in the meantime to spray another one down. Legion comes out, Hyper gets another kill. Dragonfly is the one man left and he also goes down. And I'm not exactly sure where Cyclone died there. I thought for a second he burned himself alive, but that might have been over towards Pop Dog. He could have taken some fall damage, I'm not exactly sure. That would make more sense if he was falling down and then just took full damage before the kill could come through. But I couldn't really see in all of the commotion. Either way, all that I do know is that Kinguin did win the round. And they will take a 4-1 lead. And it seems like Fragsters themselves with the pistols are trying to stick together in this round. But you can see Spiro is willing to switch up these positions. It's really good to see Spiro happy to go aggressive early on. Gets that first kill. He's sticking around here though. Luckily for him, Malzinho is going to try and help him out, but the wild spray down is only good for 1 kill. As the push comes through, they could have been in some trouble. However, Rallen rotates over to shut things down. And Spiro also did the work he needed to over towards upper. So nice little bit of aggression towards Brown Halls. You know, it was a little bit of a risk there for Spiro to stick around for so long, and it did force Mouse to come up and help him out and lose his life. However, it works out in the end. And now, finally, Fragsters have a full buy. This is what they were waiting for. They even have the AWP in the hands of Dragonfly, so let's see if they can win a gun round here. Because the Danes have certainly not been good at that so far. Still yet to win a gun round. I have to keep bringing it up because it's so insane. Mihu's holding this aggressive off angle. There's no way you expect this position. Mihu's going to swing out into the open, but Dragonfly takes his head off. Really nice reaction shot there from him. Spiro did find one in reply with the AWP of his own, so both AWPers find an opening kill on the round. However, some smokes over towards Ivy are going to force Spiro to try and reposition. He will come back towards the site, but still look towards Ivy. However, with that smoke being up, he's not really going to have too much information as to whether the players have gone in towards those back drains. So that's something Kinguin might be a little bit wary of. Either way, Fraxis are going to regroup back towards this B site. This could work really quite well because Mouse is the only player properly positioned to try and hold this off. So as the push comes through, Mouse is forced to play passive and wait for his team to rotate over. That might allow Cyclone to gain control of the site because that headshot really leaves Kinguin in a world of trouble here. It's looking good for Fragsters. Could this be their first gun round on the board in this entire series? Cyclone pushes through, catches one off guard. I'm so excited for them. They're going to do it. It's just Rallen left alive. There's no way they can lose this round. And finally, Fragsters are going to win a gun round. I feel like we need a little celebration in here. Bring out the confetti. Buy them a cake, maybe. I mean, mentally, that could really help Fragsters out. Rallen's trying to just play for exit kills. He might find one as Frostlev goes aggressive, but Frostlev wins the fight. And let's see if Fragsters can build some momentum off of their first gun round win. They do still have to deal with the full buy of Kinguin, of course. Kinguin had plenty of money built up, at least for a buy into this round, with still an AWP in the hands of Spiro. However, if Fragsters win another gun round here, in this round number 8, then Kinguin's money could be questionable. Slow start to the round, but Hyper go aggressive towards Brown Halls. After doing a tiny bit of damage, he decides to back off. So not as slow a start to the round as we've seen previously, with a little bit of aggression early on, but certainly nothing all that interesting. Nothing all that out of the norm, if you like. Fragsters seem to be thinking of working out on towards this A site. And with Spiro being boosted up here, I have to feel like this isn't going to be an easy push. There's no way to smoke him off, so they're going to have to rely on flashbangs, or they're going to have to rely on Spiro missing shots, and that works out for them. Spiro, though, won't miss twice, as he does open things up for the CTs, but just look at where Kinguin are positioned now. They're not really in the best of spots, apart from Mouse, who is still in towards heaven. However, he just fired off his shot, so I think that gave away his position. And indeed it did, because Dragonfly spots him out through the wall to take his head out. And now with 25 seconds left, Fragster should be able to get the bomb down quite safely. As you can see, Spiro has gone out of connector. Instead, it's Rallen now boosted up. He's going to go aggressive, but Hyper's already on towards the site. He denies the bomb plant. Now we're down to a 2-on-2 with the bomb still not going down, and Hyper still doing so much from the site. He's just doing a great job at delaying this, and that kill might just secure it, because Frostlife, I don't think, has the time, and Hyper swings back around for a third. That should not have been a possibility. But Kinguin, thanks to Hyper, slowing them down from the bomb site, playing those angles really well on that bomb train, managed to do all of the work, all of the heavy lifting. Hyper must have some buff arms after that round, because he was certainly doing a lot of hard work there, but it works out for Kinguin. I didn't even see how Hyper snuck on towards the bomb site there. I'm not sure if he was always positioned on towards the bomb train, or if he just came out straight through connector. Either way, I don't think Kinguin will be too bothered, because it worked out perfectly for them in that round. And it looks like Fragsters took a pause off the back of it. I'm not quite sure if that was a tactical pause, just to discuss what the hell just happened, because it was looking like that round was going to be in their favour. You saw Kinguin were having to play incredibly passively after they lost, a lot of map control early on towards that A site. And yet still, it doesn't work out for them. 2 incendiaries, placed at the exact same spot. For what it's worth, that doesn't do extra damage, but we're going to see the AK get the first entry towards B. Mouse, though, is very quick on the rotate again to help out his teammate. And Hyper does get 1 kill from the site before he goes down. So that should just about be good enough for Kinguin here. The bomb does get planted on towards the B site. But Kinguin still have the man advantage. And with the nades they have left, you can see already the smoke goes out towards upper. That could slow things down. However, Frostlev with some aggression gets a kill of his own. And Cyclone also found a frag. So it's just Rallen left 1-on-2. And with the AWP, this is so awkward, but the P250 is pulled out for the first kill. Now he's in a 1-on-1. The smoke goes towards the bomb. Rallen fakes it and scopes in. Cyclone's going to be forced to peek here, but Rallen, he gets the timing so wrong. That was really awkward there. He was looking back towards upper just at the wrong time. And that worked perfectly for Cyclone, who peeked out for the frag. Nice idea there in that clutch attempt from Rallen. You could see if you just, waited 1 more second before trying to look back towards upper, he might have even got that kill, because Cyclone was forced out into the open. And that first shot was incredibly nice, to say the least. Either way, as it's back to a 6-3 scoreline, Kinguin will decide to force up. However, with only 2 rifles to work with, you have to feel like Fragsters have a pretty damn good chance at taking control of this A site. Spiro is holding up close with the M4. Actually, Spiro is playing sneaky in the smoke as he pushes through, and that opens things up incredibly well as he gets 2 kills. Oh, what a play from Spiro. He opens things up. The rest of the team manages to also do their jobs. And I'm really impressed that Spiro had the mindset to run through that smoke and catch the first player off guard, because that dropped down the bomb and must have just caused so much panic in the ranks of the Fragsters players. Now heading into the round number 11, Fragsters again don't have the money. It's been back and forth in the recent few rounds. However, I think now Kinguin might just gain control. Out comes the push. Mao spraying them down, gets the 2 kills, and Mihu even burns an opponent alive, as he also chimes in with a 2nd kill of his own, and even makes it a triple at the end for a nice little cherry on top of the cake. And again, you look at the Kinguin kills, and I think something that's been quite impressive from Kinguin is that their kill distribution has been very even across the board. Everyone has been fragging pretty damn well for them. And that's really what's allowed them to, you know, continue to win these rounds quite convincingly. You know, even in individual rounds, for the most part, Kinguin seem to be getting, you know, 1 or 2 kills across a lot of the players, rather than one player, you know, stepping up massively. In comes the push. Mouse is here, spraying them down. He gets 3 kills, and there's Mihu to find 2 of his own. So even against the anti-eco there, you could see there were 2 players focused on team main. They share the kills between them, not relying on one player to just spray them all down. And I think it just kind of shows the team play for Kinguin might be a bit sort of better than the Fragsters guys. Either way, let's see what the Danes can do here, because they already have 3 rounds T-side, which isn't terrible. Certainly better than what they had on the previous map. And if they get 5 or 6 rounds together on this T-side, that's certainly a decent first half on train. So that's why I think this round is really incredibly important. I think if Fragsters lose this, Kinguin are going to have a really strong chance at halftime. They should have quite a big lead. And you can see the double AWPs again are going to try and get the job done for Kinguin, because Spiro is playing aggressive early on. Dragonfly's over on the other side, and you can see the 2 players almost taking the fight, but Dragonfly decides to reposition. Kinguin is holding towards Brownhorse, and here we go. Spiro gets that first kill, but Hyper is still there, and he finds a frag of his own. Really nice bait and switch from Kinguin there, as Fragsters don't expect 2 players to be pushed up so aggressively. And now Kinguin, with the 2-man advantage, can just sit back and wait patiently for Fragsters to make the move. Here comes Frozlev. He actually swings out into the open and catches Mouse off guard for the first kill. And Frozlev goes for some further aggression as he finds a 2nd kill and a 3rd on the round. And just like that, it's swung back in their favour as Frozlev finds a 4th. What the hell have I just witnessed? He's going to go for the ace, and he's going to get it. Frozlev is on fire in that round. He gets all 5 kills. And just like that, Fragsters pick up another round win. Great round from Frozlev. You know, it has to be said, Kinguin opened up that round really, really well. You know, it was a smart play over towards Brownhalls. They had the AWP there, which is always going to be good for that position. And then Hyper also caught another player off guard. But there's not much you can do when you're playing against someone who's just going to bang off your heads like that. Frozlev finds all 5 kills. Doesn't exactly feel reproducible for Fragsters, but still, incredible round there for the Danes. Either way, Hyper gets the first entry on some aggression towards Brownhalls. Here comes Dragonfly. Oh, the timing is so good for him as he gets a kill of his own. And that leaves Hyper all by himself towards the site on just 7 HP. The flash is good. He gets the first kill, but in comes Frozlev for the quick trade. So down to an even numbers position as we're in a 3-on-3 post-plant. You can see Kinguin not pushing through that quickly here. And Frozlev heard that footstep, which allowed him to get a kill. However, Spiro is there for a very quick shot on the trade. Dragonfly, though, lands another, leaving just Spiro left. And Spiro's already going back. You can see he wants to just save his AWP. So Fragsters, off the back of that Frozlev ace, might just be able to get a pretty good first half going here. If they can, you know, continue this. There's only 1 round left, of course, but a 6-round half would certainly be good. And I think a 5-round half is already acceptable on the T side. Certainly playable, which is something that couldn't be said back on Mirage when they only had 1 round in the entirety of their first half. So heading into round 15, of course, both teams will buy up fully into this one. And already we're going to see Fragsters potentially go for some quick A aggression, although that incendiary might slow things down. Did see a couple of nades go over the top from Fragsters already, though, and it seems like they're still lining up some flashes here. This is a lot of utility used early on for Fragsters. So it does feel like they might be forced to kind of just push towards the A site if they don't want to, you know, have very little utility left in the late round. And that might not work out because Spiro finds that opening kill. He's been so good at finding the first frag for his team so far. And he does it yet again as Rallen with some aggression catches Stavin off guard in towards Team Ain. And that forces Dragonfly to swing out with just the Glock. He does get that kill back though, and down to a 3-on-3. Again, Fragsters recover the position quite well, and the A site is looking very vulnerable right now. You can see Hyper might try and get his way on towards the bomb site, but decides against it. It still works out for him though, as he does get gifted a kill from Cyclone's aggression. And there's Mihu to find another frag, and here comes Hyper with some well-timed aggression out of connector, catching the man in the back to secure the 10th round at the half for Kinguin. They do just about get double digits, and I do think that Kinguin will be certainly the happier of the two teams heading into the half. But Fragsters, if they win this pistol round, it really could be anyone's game. This pistol round, I think, becomes massively important, because if Fragsters lose this one and then go 13-5 down, it's very difficult to see how they can keep themselves alive here. However, if Fragsters do win it, and also win the subsequent rounds and bring us back to a 10-8 scoreline, that is certainly anyone's game. So Kinguin have got Rallen and Hyper on the nades, and Fragsters themselves will go for some aggression. That nade does some damage, but Fragsters in return get some information for their team. And already you can see they're thinking about this B stack, because Cyclone is ready in towards connector to rotate as soon as possible. Dragonfly holding on towards B won't necessarily be needed, because the push is already coming through towards A. Frostlev is here with the P2K, getting the 1 kill already. And you can see he's just firing bullets on towards the players below him, who can't really shut him down. Finally, he is dropped, but you can see the players up on the trains are causing so much havoc, leaving just Miles left alive. There's the 1 kill. Switching to the burst fire, trying to be a bit cheeky for that one, but I don't think it's going to work out, as Miles just has too many angles and too many opponents to try and cope with. Although, as we say that, Miles actually does the smart thing here. He decides to just back off over towards Team Main. And right now, the B site would be wide open for the bomb plant if he could get here in time. 30 seconds left, and you can see Fragsters are so worried about making sure they win at this pistol round that they are sticking together. But oh no, Miles, this is not where you want to be, buddy. He's going to go back towards the A site and walk straight into the 3-man stack. He spots out 1, he spots out 2, and that will cost him his life. Quite unfortunate there for Miles. I like what he did, and I'm not surprised that he thought there would still be a player towards B. But, you know, it's just so much easier to get a bomb plant at the B site that I think I'd have still preferred him to push towards B at the end there, rather than going back towards A. Either way, that's just sort of semantics and not too important. What is important, though, is this round number 17 here, because Fragsters, again, have struggled so incredibly heavily against these pistol buys. And here we go. Very well timed flash, but just look at that. That has to be a kill. I'm sorry, bro, but that has to be a kill every single time. Stavin whiffing the shots there only, you know, takes Hyper down to half HP. And that was a perfect flash to open things up. Ooh, nice stuff. Torben with that FAMAS sprays through the box. Good penetration on the FAMAS to get that kill. And there's Frostlev with the FAMAS of his own to find a frag, leaving just Hyper and Mihu, the 2 Ivy players left. Fragsters will look to win against the pistols. So despite the Deagles for Kinguin doing incredibly well up until this point at finding those headshots, this time it seems like they might just be shut out of this round. Out comes the incendiary, just to slow things down. In the meantime, it seems like Stavin did come out on top. And there we go. The SMGs close out the round win. So Fragsters do manage to win that round without a single casualty on their side. They're gonna go back to Denmark as heroes. They didn't even lose a single man on the job. Good job. So heading into round 18 again, not really likely to be that important of a round in the grand scheme of things. You would expect Fragsters to take this one comfortably. Especially considering Kinguin have actually invested even less than I was expecting into this round. I thought they might buy up a couple more pistols to go with these two P250s. They do have a single flashbang in the hands of Mouse, so we might follow through to see where he throws that flashbang out and how successful it is. Because that's going to be quite important. If that's well placed, it might allow them to get a bomb plant on this B site. Seems like in the meantime, though, Frostlever's got the first two kills. Out goes the flash a bit too far, and I don't think that's going to allow the bomb plant because Cyclone is still on towards the bomb site. So just Mal's left, and he will also go down. And you can see there, the flash just went a bit too far, you know, and it's kind of understandable as to why he threw the flashbang there, because you're not really going to expect someone to be playing any of these close positions when they're up against the pistols. You know, that's quite a big risk to take, playing those close range angles, when you know you're going to be up against pistols that could overwhelm you. So I understand why Kinguin decided to go for a deeper flashbang, just to try and, you know, get some of the players playing further back off of it. And I don't mind the decision, you know. I think a lot of the time Fragsters will be playing a lot more passive there. So I like the idea, but this time they can't get onto the bomb site. Now we will see a buy from both teams, with Dragonfly having the singular AWP in this early gun round. He's going to be over towards Ivy and me, who's thinking about a peek. He spots out the leg. Ooh, there's some damage dealt, and Dragonfly might be feeling a little bit vulnerable there. However, they might not expect the second player to be playing so close up towards Ivy if the push came through. Stavin will continue to play behind this little server box. He comes out. Oh, Stavin times it perfectly. Running and gunning with that UMP to find those two quick kills. He heard the flashbang about to be thrown, and that allowed him to just swing straight out into the open to catch two players off guard for 2 kills. And that might just put an end to this round in its entirety, because Spiro and Mouse are just going to go for a desperation push on towards the B site. They're hoping to catch anyone off guard on the rotate over, but that will not be possible. And Fragsters might just bring us back to an even scoreline. And despite this one looking like it could have been quite dominant for Kinguin at the early stages, Fragsters have not given up just yet. They don't want to be embarrassed after that earlier 16-2 loss. And I think they've, you know, had a good showing for themselves here, has to be said. Either way, I'm sure Fragsters will be hungry for more than just a good showing, and at least able to salvage the draw on the scoreboard. Kinguin with just pistols are going to take a slow start to the round. You can see 3 P250s for the Poles to play with, alongside Hyper's Deeg, and of course Rallen's CZ, which we've seen start to be preferred even on the T side recently. It always does feel a little bit awkward using the CZ on the terrorist side, at least for me, because, you know, you don't really get to pick which fights you're taking all that well, at least 100% of the time, and you want to be taking those close fights. Oh, hello, Rallen. Got to be checking those corners. He goes down. In the meantime, though, I think Kinguin will at least get the bomb plant on towards the A site, and here comes the flash through. There's Cyclone caught off guard, so that's at least a FAMAS recovered. And in the meantime, Mouse should be getting a free kill, and that flick down is really nice to get that frag. Still, though, Dragonfly comes in for the trade, so despite Kinguin's best efforts, seems like Fragsters will still be coming out on top. Ooh, Hyper nearly had that headshot lined up, but Dragonfly again with some quick AWP shots in this round to secure the win. And Torben will find the bomb in the midst of the smoke to tie us up at a 10-10 scoreline. And, you know, whenever the scoreline is tied up, I feel like it's always nice to get a good full gun round in the mix. It's what, you know, you want to see in Counter-Strike for the most part, and it seems like Kinguin, with this gun round, will try and go for a quick A play by the looks of things. And that's a little bit surprising, all things considered. You can see them already working their way out towards the site, And there's Mihu to spot out the head of Frostlev early on. Now the push will come through quickly towards the A site as they look to gain control. And they might be able to do that because Cyclone seems very unaware of how quickly the players have pushed up here. Fragsters just were not ready for that quick aggression by the looks of things. The bomb goes down with Dragonfly at least getting a kill back to make it somewhat more doable for the Danes, but I don't think they're going to come out on top here. But just as I say that, Mihu just gifts his life over to Torben. So another kill for Fragsters, but Mihu, Spiro, with the AWP puts an end to all of the madness, as that kill will guarantee it. A little bit sort of unnecessary, I would say, for Spiro to be going aggressive like that after they get the bomb down, but you know, doesn't matter too much in the end. And looks like, again, we will see a pause. This time it's not going to be a microphone issue like we've seen so many times in the past. Seems like Cyclone and Torben have similar ping problems. So we will use this opportunity with the technical pause to take a quick look at the scoreboard. You can see Frostlev off the back of that round where he picked up the ace. He's having a great game up until this point with 22 kills, very much leading the way for his team. Whereas again on the Kingwin side, very, very even stuff across the entire team. That's almost been the sort of, you know, summary, I'd say, of Kingwin's performance up until this point in this series. You know, on the first map, they played sort of incredibly well across their entire team, and it seems like that is continuing on this second map. Although not quite to the same extent, of course, because Mirage was a complete stomp. So it looks like both teams are ready to get back underway as the ping issues have subsided. And we will again be into another full buy round for both teams. And of course, in the scoreboard, you can quickly check the money on both sides and see that despite Fragsters winning so many rounds in a row, they don't exactly have perfect money built up after that one round loss. So they have to be a little bit careful here that their money doesn't just fall apart. And this round again becomes really quite important. And here comes the aggression. Dragonfly going for the peak. Stands in the flames for quite a while there, trying to get that opening kill. So that's going to take him down to 60 HP early on. Not too worrying. However, as Kingwin line up the B play, that's a bit more worrying for Fragsters, because you can already see Dragonfly is the only player here, and he is not really all that well equipped to try and hold off the push towards the site. He did at least have a smoke there go towards upper to try and slow things down, but as the smoke comes down ramp from the terrorists, what can Dragonfly do here? Because the deep smoke will continue to obscure his vision. It's not going to be easy to get a single kill on the hold, but there you go. He finds one anyway because Mouse doesn't expect the AWP to be holding that specific angle. And here we go. Dragonfly continues with the aggression to find another kill. And despite Kingwin doing such a good job at taking control of the site without having to take any fights, they then go for some further aggression, and that costs them 3 players, leaving just Spiro and Rallon left. Rallon's the man with the health as he goes out into the open, but there's Frost left to find the kill. And Spiro has already realised he's got pretty much no chance here, so I like the decision to just save the AWP into the next round. And it looks like Kingwin will just about be able to scrape together a buy. Won't exactly be convincing from them, but they should get rifles across the entirety of their team. And it seems like, again, Cyclone and Torben having similar ping issues that hopefully will be sorted out ASAP. Again, good to see that the ping issues I don't think have really been impacting the rounds that often from what I've seen. You know, that round certainly wasn't affected by it. You saw Fragsters still coming out on top. Because you never like to see a team win or lose a round due to technical issues, of course. Always a bit of a shame when you start to get the pauses in what is obviously the most exciting time of the game. But unfortunately it happens sometimes, and it's something you have to deal with. But yeah, 11-11, this game very much heating up. And considering Fragsters are on the CT side, they might be feeling pretty damn good about their chances, especially when they look at the Kingwin buy heading into this round. We do have some guns dropped, of course. There are 2 AKs and an AWP on the floor, so it will be full rifles for the Kingwin lineup. But Mao's is lacking head armor. Interestingly enough, it looks like Mao's decided to buy up the smoke rather than the helmet. I'm not sure if... Okay, no, he had literally $300, so he couldn't afford the Kevlar and helmet, which makes sense. So he's going to have to play without the helmet, and that's always like a small little aspect to watch out for. I don't see it come into play that often, but it does mean that these M4s will be one-shot headshots up against Mao's without his helmet. But yeah, other than that, not too much in terms of sort of disparities in terms of the Kinguin buy. It's pretty much a full buy for them, even with the AWP for Spiro. The only issue I think for Kinguin is that now, with Fragsters already having built up a fair amount of money, they're going to have to win multiple rounds to break this economy. And that's not an easy task on the T side of Train. Winning multiple gun rounds in a row can be difficult. As we kind of saw, Fragsters struggled with that a little bit in the first half. You saw they did manage to get 5 rounds together, but, you know, never really all that often gun rounds, you know, following each other. And that really did allow Kinguin to win a lot of CT rounds because they were just so far ahead in terms of the economy. You know, when the CTs get rolling on Train in terms of the money as well, it can be really difficult to overcome that. So Kinguin are going to have to do a lot of work to make sure they still remain in the driver's seat here. Because I think it's fair to say Fragsters at this point will be feeling quite good about their chances. Looks like the ping issues are still plaguing Cyclone and Torben. Quick look at the spawns for the AWPers, which is always a small little thing to watch out for. Looks like Spiro has a pretty good spawn for the T side if he wanted to go for some early aggression, but I doubt we will see that from the terrorists. In the meantime, Fragsters have Dragonfly, of course, who will be having that AWP, and he's not really got that great of a spawn for anywhere, so we'll have to wait and see if he does go for some sort of aggressive peek. I think it's unlikely considering this spawn. You know, there's no real need to take that risk. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know what just happened there. I think my microphone just messed up, but hopefully we are back. So it looks like Fragsters are just going to wait out the ping. And that means you guys are also going to have to wait out their ping, unfortunately. So I think while we wait, I'll just go ahead and put on some music so you guys can chill out a little bit. So when you next hear my voice, we will be back live with the remainder of this map. There's a Cyclone. Hopefully isn't memeing about the 165 minutes left, because I don't want to be waiting for 3 hours to finish off this game. But yeah, we'll be right back as soon as the game is live again.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for me. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
Like a fire, we burn so bright. I was day and you were night. Like a spark, we were quick to ignite. Then you ask yourself, is it worth this fight? I love you so much sometimes, baby, I felt like I couldn't breathe. When I look in your eyes, I know I'm right here where I need to be. This could be the last time we see each other, but I wanted you to know that this ain't over. If you fall, I'll pick you up. Never too much. Carry these memories till we're older. Catch me falling now. Need you here somehow. Catch me falling now. This ain't over. You know that. You know that. You know that. You know that. This ain't over. You know that I'll be waiting. When you come back, yeah. I'll be waiting. When you come back, when you come back to me. If you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's meant to be. How can I make you see? There will never be another you and me. This could be the last time that we see each other, but I wanted you to know that this ain't over. If you fall, I'll pick you up. Never too much. Carry these memories till we're older. So let's try to rewind and turn back all this time. So let's try to rewind now. This ain't over. This ain't over. This ain't over. So let me catch you. So let me catch you slipping by. Why do I get myself? Why do I get myself caught up in these lonely nights? Oh, why? Why do I get myself? Why do I get myself caught up in these lonely
Alright guys, it looks like hopefully we will be able to get underway any second now because the pings are looking good. Looks like we have got the backup all sorted out, so we will get straight back into the action, which is always good to see. So if you need some reminding, because it's been quite a while since the game was live, we are at an 11-11 scoreline on this second map. The first one back on Mirage went in favour of Kingwin massively with a 16-2 win. And now in this second map of this best of two, we will get to see if either Fragsters can manage to bring it back and at least salvage a draw, or if Kingwin can press on for the 2-0 win. And oh, dearie me, it looks like they're trying to call for the stop because one of the players is AFK. Seems like Dragonfly isn't quite back yet. However, I think we're not going to stop just yet. It seems like Dragonfly is back. We don't know if we're live. Finally, the admin comes in and says we are going to reload. So here we go. This is going to be it this time for real. Dragonfly is back. Everyone is back and ready to get underway. Hopefully, at least, because Cyclone and Torben's ping is slowly going up. But it seems like it is playable for the time being. So we will get back underway with the rebuys coming through. Guns dropped for Hyper and Mihu, and here we go. Round number 23. Remember, this is going to be a really important round for Kingwin. If they lose this one, Fragsters' money is going to be so good and their money is going to be so bad that Fragsters are going to have a great chance of coming out on top on this second half. So I really do think this is a vital round for Kingwin. And let's see what their plan is for this all-important round. Cyclone's gone aggressive in towards Popdog with some support from a teammate at his back. So if any aggression comes towards this position, you'd have to feel like Cyclone will be favoured to either win the first fight or at least have Frostlev trade for him. And I don't mind this setup. The only issue is it's a bit vulnerable. If a couple of nades come in or a Molotov forces them back, they could be in trouble then. However, that doesn't seem like it's going to happen just yet. A minute left for the polls. And they have to make up their mind as to which site they want to move towards. And it seems like B is the answer they have come up with. Currently, Torben is towards the B bomb site. However, just as I say that, a rotation will come through at the hands of the AWP of Dragonfly. He's thinking about going back, but it seems like the pop dog stack worked out as Frostlev gets the first kill, but Mihu denies anything more from it because he finds both of those frags before they can fall back. In the meantime, out comes the push towards B, but Torben is there to find a quick headshot. Despite going down to 8 HP in the process, he just about holds on to his life. And that leaves Spiro and Rallen 2 on 3, but look at Rallen's position. The flank is perfect to take down Torben early on. Now his position is compromised though, and that allows Dragonfly to finish him off, leaving Spiro 1 on 2. Such an important clutch, but Dragonfly manages to land that shot. That must have been insane from his point of view. Jumping all the way through. Oh, remove the text. That's a good call. Holy crap. Forgot I had that up. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know. And yeah, Fragsters take that all-important round. That must have been, yeah, insane from Dragonfly there. To land that shot while jumping, I mean, wow. To be fair, Spiro had already missed his shot, so, you know, you got to feel a little more confident after that happens. But yeah, now 12-11, Kingwin will go for the buy. Hyper is the only one without an AK, surprisingly. Thought they would have a weaker buy than this, but they do at least have the rifles. However, they are lacking a little bit in terms of not only nades, but also, you can already see, you know, Hyper doesn't have any Kevlar, and Spiro and Rallen are missing helmets. So they're going to have to rely on some quick headshots to win this round. And already Torben will land some shots himself, and there is the headshot of his own, as he gets the first kill. He actually got 2 frags there from the hold, but Mihu found one with the Molotov. Hyper is pushing aggressively. Stavin was nearly caught off guard there. Seemed like he didn't quite spot out Hyper going on the aggression. Finally, Stavin finishes him off. Now with just Spiro and Rallen alive, it should be the retake for the Danish team. And they are able to find all the kills. So Fragsters will bring us back to a 13-11 scoreline. And now, Kingwin have questionable money. You can see they're going to have to go for pistols. And this is starting to look very, very good for Fragsters. And I think that's why that round when it was 11-11 was so incredibly important for Kingwin. And as soon as they lose that one, they get in some real trouble. And you can already see they are in that hot water right now. And they are at risk of being burned. We will see Kingwin try and get something done with the pistols. And Fragsters, in the past, have struggled against these pistols on the odd occasion. But generally it's been Deagles that have been doing a lot of the work for Kingwin. Seems like, though, the investment into the nades might pay off here, because they're going to get the plant down without any kills coming through for either side. And now Kingwin are more than happy to just try and play it safe and force Fragsters to push through. Luckily for Fragsters, Stavin will get some work done as he finds 2 quick headshots with that AK. Looking for a third, the peak comes out, and Stavin is just picking them apart one by one. Finally, Spiro shuts him out of it, but he's the one man left, and he doesn't have any ammo left. Still, the fake defuse comes through. Finally, they will try and stick it, and that should give them enough time for the defuse, although he's not stuck the defuse again, and Spiro might do this one. Oh, there's no time, and Spiro not quite able to get that final kill. But my goodness, that should never have even been that close. Wow, Spiro almost manages to win on a miracle round. Fragsters could have just stuck that defuse. They really should have just stuck the defuse. But instead it becomes oh so close at the end there. And finally they realise they can just go for that 5-second defuse and just about stick it. But again, wow. What an effort from Spiro. Either way, Pete comes out, perfect flashbang. But Mouse, with a really quick flick, gets the trade through. Very nice shot from him. As Spiro with the AWP to find a kill of his own. So Kingwin will take the man advantage on this A aggression, but oh, Rallen is caught in an awful position, jumping between the trains. Luckily for him, Spiro has his back with the AWP, finding the second kill and a trade kill on towards Frost there, who loses his life. Cyclone has got himself into a great position here to hold this off, and Spiro misses that shot, which costs him a lot of his health. Oh, Cyclone is doing so much damage here. Not only does he find that second kill, but he just did a huge amount of damage to Spiro, who just has 22 health left to try and win this clutch. And it's looking likely that Fragsters might just get themselves up to map point. Spiro's going to peek out, trying to find an angle for the first kill. But you can see Fragsters are playing as safe as possible, which is very smart up against the AWP. There's no need to take any unnecessary risks, although, oh no, Torben is caught with his back turned straight out in the open. And that allows Spiro an easy kill. And now, in a one-on-one, Spiro just needs one more bullet to win this round for his team. Cyclones into his heaven, and that is a position that Spiro did not account for, as a single bullet finishes him off. Fragsters have 4 map points, 4 chances to at least get a draw, and this would be their 3rd draw out of their opening 3 matches. They've already drawn their first 2 games, I believe up against Tricked, and I don't remember who the other game was against. I think it might have been Space Soldiers. Either way, Pete comes out. Ooh, Dragonfly doesn't quite pull the trigger there. He lets the first player run out to that Olaf position at Blue Train. In the meantime, though, the rest of the Kinguin lineup seem to be more focused on that B site. So Mihu might be trying to sell a fake here. However, he's not sold it all that well because Dragonfly is going to rotate back towards this B-bomb site. And there's Frostlev for a frag elsewhere. So Kinguin have managed to gain some control of the site, but at what cost? There's Mouse to get a kill back. Finally, Kinguin, they're finding some kills, but it's just too little, too late. Rallen decided to bail on the B site, and with just 3 HP, ooh, he nearly takes full damage, but just about gets down the ladder. 1 on 3 to keep Kinguin alive. Rallen's moving towards the site, trying to see if he can get some sort of opening into this round. Chances are slim, and the chances are now done because Frostlev finishes him off. 28 kills for Frostlev in a nice 16-11 win for Fragsters. And after such a poor performance on the first map, very good to see them rebound like this and have a good showing here. So it is Fragsters who take this second map 16-11 and, you know, at least salvage a 1-1 scoreline here against Kinguin. Kinguin at least get a map win on the board, but that's their first map win out of 10 maps they've played so far. So not looking great for them in this development league, but it's called the development league for a reason. And with this sort of, you know, newer roster with Hyper joining them, still time for them to advance and get better, of course, and develop into a better team. Either way, if you are going to finish watching there, my name is Hawker. If you want to subscribe on YouTube here, that would always be appreciated. If you enjoyed the casting, you know, always enjoy some support from the boys. But yeah, other than that, if you want to stick around, I think I will be doing another game after the break. It should be North against Tricked coming up. So if you want to stick around to watch some more Danish CS, you're more than welcome to do so. But other than that, yeah, if you are going to stop here, I understand. And yeah, appreciate all of the people watching. Always good to get some viewers in there. And other than that, I will go ahead and throw it over to a break. And yeah, make sure to stick around for North up against Tricked.
Walk through my heart. Show me your eyes. 'Cause all along I knew I was doing the wrong thing by giving The world has been broke down. The world is just announced. Final time is now. The final time to bow. But I will not get down. For you can't force me now. Awakening is clear. I could show you how. I could show you how to fight I could show you how to defeat
Alright, ladies and gents, we are live for North up against Tricked, second series of the day. We just saw Fragsters take one map off of Kingwin. The other Danish team doing pretty decently, but now we've got the Danish Derby, North up against Tricked. I say Danish Derby, but there's just so many, you know, Danish teams that it's not even really a derby, to be honest. Just seems like there's so many good Danish teams that can compete, doesn't it? Either way, we will be heading into the first map here that will be Mirage. Exactly the same map we saw in the first game of the day, surprisingly.
Hi.
The Trick players just, you know, introduce themselves to the stream. Always good to for them to say hi, you know. Oh, damn it, because they're both Danish. They're going to talk in Danish. Ugh, I can't even read that chat. This is just a disaster. No, but of course, if you are a bit unfamiliar with these teams, we got North up against Tricked. Most people should know North because they're probably the highest caliber team in this development league. You know, their lineup: Cajun B, Config, MSL, AZ, and a recent addition of Valder, who actually did very well at the first tournament they played in recently, at that DreamHack we just saw. In the meantime, Tricked have certainly switched around their roster as well. I believe they picked up the one of the former other Danish teams, and they did a weird sort of roster shift thing. It was really weird. We've got Insta, Rixo, Lucky, Console, and Refresh. And I think this Trick lineup's probably one of the ones I know the least about in this development league, so I'm interested to see how they perform here. Of course, there was that old Trick lineup that had Hunden in there, as well as the rest of those boys, but they switched it up here, and we'll have to see how this new Danish lineup can do up against North here. So it looks like Tricked are lining up the A play to start us off, and Cajun B has gone aggressive again. I don't really like this setup. We've seen some teams do this up until this point already, and you can see the Glocks just overwhelm it so easily to start us off. The bomb's going to go down on towards the A site, and Cajun and MSL weren't really playing off of each other there on the A site. You know, one in towards CT, one close towards ramp. Can't really trade off of each other all that well, it doesn't feel like. And that leaves the rest of the team scrambling to try and regain control of the A site. You can see Config looking to do what he can, but already shots coming in towards him. Okay, Config, that's a ridiculous kill. It's not going to lead to anything, but it's still pretty damn insane, to say the least. He's going to drop a smoke on towards the bomb and try and get the defuse kit. However, that's just a little bit too audacious for Config to attempt, but still. That one shot, just config things, you know? Just config things, has to be said. Holy. Either way, round number 2, we'll see North have some investment into this round, although Cajun looks to be saving up as much money as possible for that early AWP. AZ's brought up a scout, which he's holding off towards mid with. In the meantime, the rest of Trick look to be going for an A execute. With the smoke being up, MSL could do huge damage here. He switches over to the UMP. There's the second kill before Console finally gets lucky through the smoke for the trade. Looking decent for North as they get a few kills on the hold, and Cajun makes his presence felt as he finds his way on towards the site for a kill, leaving just Console left alive, and this is looking great for North now. They just need one bullet, and they will find it as Valdez sprays down. And a miraculous round win goes in favour of North. Cajun B even found a kill of his own with just the USP on towards the site. And Tricked just didn't seem all that ready for some of those positions that were being utilised by the North players. And this is a almost identical start to what we saw on the previous game we just casted with Kingwin up against Fragsters. Where, you know, Fragsters won the pistol round in similar fashion on the T side and then just fell apart after that and lost every single gun round after they lost the force buy in the second. Nice spray from AZ, by the way, to get 2 kills. Config chimes in with a frag of his own, but as the trace went back and forth, Refresh has a rifle here as he gets the first kill. Swings out trying to get the second, but Valda shuts down the chance of that happening. However, again, that was a little bit closer than North would have anticipated, or at least wanted, before that round started, considering the situation they were in. So now, heading into round number 4, Tricked won't have too much investment, so this has to be a cleanup, you would think. Cajun B already starts that cleanup on aisle 5 with a quick kill. MP9 cleans things up. There's MSL with a nice spray transfer. Needs some assistance from AZ, but AZ is more than happy to swing out and get that kill to pad those stats a little bit. And North, off the back of the force buy win, take the subsequent 2 rounds. However, now here comes a buy from Tricked. HB does have the AWP bought up, which he was saving for previously, although he doesn't quite have too many nades to work with alongside it. By the way, it seems like Cajun B is going to focus on mid rather than B apartments, which you often see AWPers go for. And Tricked themselves might think about going for mid control. It's quite standard to go for mid control on the T side. However, without the AWP, it's a bit more questionable as to whether or not it's worth going for it here, especially when you should have a decent idea that, you know, Cajun will be able to afford an AWP himself. You know, they should have been keeping track of the fact that he was the guy buying up the cheaper guns, buying up the MP9 there, and got a kill with it in the previous round. So they should be aware he's been trying to save quite heavily for the AWP early on. It seems like still, despite that, they are going to look for some mid-aggression. And Cajun may be able to avoid these smokes here. This could actually be really brutal for Tricked. There's Cajun swinging out for the first kill and the second before the trade comes through, but Refresh flicks back around for 2 quick headshots. And that brings us down to a 2-on-2. Certainly relied on a great individual play from Refresh. However, Console might get caught off guard. He doesn't realise Valda's pushing out. And some well-timed aggression from Valda finds him a free kill, but Refresh certainly has some playability here. He himself might just flank Valda, who just flanked Console, but it seems like instead Refresh will take the opportunity to walk on towards the B site. And I certainly think that's quite a good idea. He can be quite comfortable and confident that the site will be clear, and that allows him to get the bomb down in a 1v2. And with Config being so low on health, North have to be a little bit worried of the position they've got themselves into. Refresh, I think, spotted out the first player towards the apps, and there we go. He does find that first free kill, but now Valda knows roughly where he is positioned, and I don't think Refresh can pull this off. But he proves me wrong as he gets 4 kills on the round, and Tricked do manage to win this first gun round off the back of Refresh. He's really started well here. He's got himself 10 kills on the board at this early stage. And North, surprisingly, aren't quite having the dominant showing you might expect to start us off. You know, I kind of see Tricked as one of the weaker teams heading into this development league, alongside a team like Fragsters. A couple of the Danish teams seem a little weaker. But, you know, North certainly were favourites coming into this entire league, I think it has to be said. I know it's very early stages of this map, but still, I have to see if that can continue. Because already you can see this buy from North isn't perfect, but neither is Tricked. They've got a couple of Galils, whereas Cajun has this Scout without Kevlar. So some weaknesses in the buys on either side. So you can already see Tricked heavily grouped up here. You would think they would have to go quite quickly, and already they are deciding to do so. We'll talk about why they should go quickly later, because already they're gaining control towards the site. Refresh gets the first kill with that AK, but Config is completely smoked off towards short. And more importantly, he's not got any health left, because through the smoke, Rixo finds the frag. Console holding off, finds another headshot, and North's B defense crumbles under the pressure put on towards it by the Trick players pushing through so quickly. And AZ and MSL will just be forced to save what they can. So, as I was kind of saying previously, you know, there were 5 players all in towards this area of the map. And this is quite a heavy risk to take from Tricked, considering they didn't push through that quickly. Because you risk, you know, some of the A players going for... Whoa, I wanted this to be blue to do the CT colour, but it's green apparently. But yeah, you always risk the CTs going for some aggression in towards ramp or something, or in towards Palace, and then they, you know, can know that there's no one towards A and just stack towards the B site if you're not careful. So heading into round number 7. North have got those 2 rifles saved, and let's see what AZ and MSL decide to do. They've both been A players up until this point, but AZ will be the only one sticking to the A site as MSL goes back towards B. And there is AZ to open us up for the CTs with a kill. However, now his position is certainly questionable, especially as he's stuck in towards the apartments, and here comes Console just spraying them down. MSL didn't really have time to react as that headshot came through quickly, and Valda is the one man left with the P250. So it's looking likely the Tricks will take the lead. And it's certain now, because they have taken the 4-3 lead as Rixo secures that one. And now North, again, they will have to go for a buy here, considering the money they have. But I don't really like the position they are in all that much. You can see they have scraped the buy together, but it's certainly a little bit bottom of the barrel. They do at least have the 5 M4s, which is certainly strong in terms of weaponry, but you can already see some holes forming in terms of nades, and also no defuse kit to speak of, as well as not even an AWP to try and counteract any mid-aggression that could go down early on. However, it seems like Tricks themselves don't have the AWP just yet, so it's looking like they won't go for any mid-play early into this one. Instead, they will just sit back passively and wait to see if North make any early mistakes. Config. CC smokes come up again, and this time he reacts well by flashing himself through. So I think this was Trick trying to fake towards the B site with that similar smoke setup to that previous round where they did hit B. And now they're going to try and fake that and come towards A. However, that push from Config gained him all the information he needed that it wasn't going to be a B site push. So they've rotated quite heavily over towards here. However, still Tricked get the bomb down. 4v4 with Tricked having solid post-plant positions as well as 3 Molotovs still to play with. North are going to have to hold on to a smoke here to try and smoke towards the bomb. And Config's the only one with a smoke left, so that's something to watch out for. Rixo gets a kill, and North going to need to gain some ground here. There is AZ to find a frag back on towards Insta, who was out in the open. Finally, Config does smoke towards the bomb. He might just try and stick this defuse, but without the kit, it's a full 10-second defuse attempt here. However, it might still work, but no, there goes Lucky taking him down. AZ finally finds the trade, but there's just not enough time. And that was the issue of not having the defuse kit really rearing its head there. As I was saying earlier, you know, they couldn't quite get the money together to buy up a single defuse kit on the CT side. And when it comes down to those few seconds difference at the end of the round, that can certainly make all of the impact, as shown there. So AZ saves the M4. We see a smoke go out towards mid from the north, guys, and AZ's going to get boosted over the top of it. So you would think that Tricked would be aware that they haven't themselves smoked window. Which is why I don't think that that play is going to work, because instead, Tricked are just going to go towards A. MSL is here with the Deagle, but not for much longer, because Rixo has taken off his head. Rixo's been finding some quick entries on towards the site as he tries to take the point for the team, and he finds another headshot, this time on towards Cage and B, who will go down. Now AZ must be thinking in the back of his mind it might be worth saving this rifle, especially now that he's down to 17 HP. But for the time being, he will try and stop any plant come down. He sneaks his way towards the site, but he loses his life. So just AZ left. Not too much to do at this point. You know, I thought this round might be a little bit more interesting because it wasn't quite a full eco for North. They didn't invest much money, but AZ at least saved this one rifle. However, it didn't lead to much, as for some reason his knife is called Mexico. Not sure I get the reference, but you know, we'll go with it. So it looks like AZ will try to save. I just want to say that sticker on this howl here, I'm not a fan. I mean, you can't be putting your own sticker over like the face of the howl. Come on, man. The howl's just such a sexy skin. You can't be doing that. Either way, AZ will likely be able to save his gun, although Insta's walking all the way up. Oh, AZ might not expect it. Oh, if Insta swings out a little bit further, AZ might just lose his life. But luckily for him, Insta decides to stop at the last second. Okay, so heading into round 10. Tricked have been winning a fair few rounds recently. 5 in a row now for Tricked. So let's see how North respond to this. They've got the AWP in the hands of Cajun, but as the smokes come on towards A, MSL doesn't really have a great angle to look through. The nade does go out and do some decent damage, however he's calling for a heavy rotate. That seems to be the correct call because the bomb is dropped, and just look at this shutdown. It's only Refresh left, but he is also going to lose out in that fight. And Tricked try to switch up the pace of their play just a little bit. And North just say that is not going to be happening today. Complete shutdown on the A play. The smokes came up pretty decently, to be honest. However, North just rotated over so incredibly quickly that made it, you know, really difficult for Trick to do anything at that point when they're dealing with so many CTs towards the site. So it's like Refresh is happy to go for some aggression over towards B early on, but not really too much to speak of. Oh, sorry about that. Give me a second. Press the wrong button. There we go. I do like that transition though. Cheeky little fade, why not? Deep smoke from Cajun. He's playing B by himself with this AWP, which is something you see fairly often. Now the question becomes, what is Tricked's idea in this round? Because if they go towards B, it wouldn't be too hard to overwhelm Cajun if he continues to play that aggressively. Especially with, you know, some nades used. If they could flash him off this angle, then Cajun might not get that much information and still be a little bit worried, if you like. So after a very quick round, Tricked's now going for a very slow round with 44 seconds left. They will be forced to push through relatively soon here. Here we go, they're going to try and split B, but Config already taps off one head with that AK-47. Lucky finally opens things up for Tricked, and there is Insta with a kill of his own, and actually, Tricked is swinging it back in their favour here with a flurry of frags for them, bringing them up to a 3-on-2. Now it's just Valda and MSL left to try and retake B, but it's never easy to retake this site specifically. There's not that many positions you can push through on, but one of them is B short, and MSL gets a kill for his troubles. However, that is all his team will get from that position because Lucky shuts it down, and Tricked continue to have a really good showing here on their T side, and North have to be a little bit worried at this point. They're down 7-4 and their money is starting to dwindle. Even with the big loss bonus, this buy isn't going to be perfect, with AZ specifically forced down to just a CZ and the rest of the team lacking heavily in terms of utility. You know, no defuse kits to speak of, just a couple of smokes across the team. Seems like though Tricked again, leaning heavily over towards B. I don't really like how long they just kind of stand around in this position because, you You know, what happens if someone pushes up mid right now? You can see they are finally now going for the push. So Cajun solo holding, or sorry, not Cajun, Valder holding the site could be in trouble, and already you see that come into fruition as Rixo finds a shot straight through the smoke on towards Config, who again dies on the other side of that smoke. Ooh, Cajun there doesn't actually get that kill. And now in a 3-on-5 retake without that opening frag, I think that North might just concede this round. But yeah, Config has been holding towards short fairly often in this position, right? And these two smokes have been coming up. Really nice stuff from the terrace here. Trick do a great job at cutting off this area of the site. And Config just continues to play in short, where he's obviously going to get cut off by these smokes. And not only that, but also it seems like he's getting shot through those smokes every single round. And I feel like if he's dying every round through those smokes... Okay, AZ's just got loads of kills, but there we go, he dies off. But yeah, if he is going to die through those smokes every single round, clearly that's something he needs to adapt to and sort of switch up a little bit. We did see that one round where they tried to do that fake on towards B, that he flashed through the smoke aggressively and got the one kill, and that gave them a lot of information. But if he can't do that every single round, I wouldn't mind him just trying to play it a bit safer, maybe even, because clearly Tricked have lined up those wallbangs quite well. Either way, Tricked with some quick mid aggression this round. However, here comes Cajun rotating over towards mid for the one kill. And they have to be a little bit worried that AWP is still holding that position, but maybe not so worried anymore because Rixo is there with the AWP of his own. Cajun spots out the jiggle peek, and that allows him to open things up. But elsewhere, seems like Console has got his way on towards the A site, and look at that click, click. There we go, on towards the heads to leave him in a one-on-one against Valder. Console doesn't have the bomb in his possession, so he's going to work his way all the way back towards the B site, and then seemingly come back towards mid from a slightly different angle. Let's see if Valder is aware of this, because right now, ooh, he's switching between the two positions a little bit. However, now he's not exposed from window, so he's just focused on short. And what a great read from Valder. He's always going to be landing that shot. But yeah, it's not easy to realise that the opponent is likely to come from B short there. There's a fair few positions he can come from. So I'm impressed that Valder sort of cut it down quite well. At the same time, he was taking quite a big risk there, because if the opponent just came straight through connector, he's holding an angle that's very awkward to play with just an AWP. But Valder clearly had the reads on point, and they work out for him in that round. We're going to see Cajun go aggressive towards A ramp. This is a good angle to hold. He gets the one kill, and now he can just fall back passively and ask for some support from his team if he wants to. Seems like he's not asking for it just yet, but finally he will get some with AZ coming over. Meantime, MSL goes down, but Config finds the angle on the edge of the smoke for the frag back. And Cajun with that AWP starting to sort of come into his own here as he gets a second kill. But finally Rixo puts an end to that as he gets a headshot back. So it seems like Tricked might just have some control of the A site, but you can see they're not comfortable with the position they're in. They're not committing to the push just yet. And that might be what costs them here, because you can see they can't really get the bomb down now. North are in great positions, and it's just kind of forcing Tricked here to frag out before they can even think about trying to plant that bomb. With 3 CTs left to try and deal with, and here we go, Rixo goes aggressive. Oh my god, it's Refresh, sorry, to get 2 kills. But Valder comes out from CT and finds 2 of his own. Wow, that nearly worked out there, and oh, okay, now Refresh is just timed out. What the hell is going on? Considering the position they were in there, Tricked actually played that one quite smartly. You know, down in that 2-on-3, they did a good job there. They did take a while, which was a little bit awkward after the smokes had faded. But, you know, they did a really good job at actually double peeking on towards this angle. Like, it's quite a heavy risk to take in case there's a player in jungle who can just take this free fight here. But when there were 2 players in towards connector, this worked very well. You know, 1 player swinging out from site, 1 player pushing aggressively on towards stairs, both taking this sort of, you know, angle at the same time. And that really caught the 2 CTs off guard as Refresh found those 2 kills. But even then, you saw Valdo was able to just swing out from CT and have a perfect angle to just fire at the opponents that weren't looking towards him. So even when it went really well for Tricked, Valdo was still able to pull it back for his team. And now, heading into the last round of the half, I'm not sure about some of these buys, particularly the dualies on the hands of Console. I mean, 2 guns are better than 1. I think that has to be said. So clearly, the dualies are the best gun in the game, if you think about it that way. Either way, let's see what they can do. It's a nice skin, to be fair. Got to give him some credit. Wouldn't be surprised to see him just running in first, but it seems like instead the Galil of Lucky will be trying to get the first entries, and already he is trying to gain some ground on towards the site. However, AZ there with the UMP finds, oh wow, 3 kills at the end to shut things down. And it did always feel like North were going to be favoured in that final round after Tricked money was broken. So 8-7 at the half. All things considered, Tricked will be delighted, I think, with that first half scoreline. Coming in here as underdogs, they take the slight edge into the second half. And now heading into their CT side, you know, you'd think a lot of teams feel more comfortable on their CT side, where they're sort of more just sitting back and sort of waiting for their opponents to make the move and then reacting off the back of that. So here we go, second half underway. AZ is going to buy up some nades, a smoke, a flash, and a HE grenade specifically. In the meantime, Console has a defuse kit, and it seemed like he might have had a smoke, but he's already thrown it. Push coming out. Trying to land some lucky jump shots. Why not? Go for a YOLO play. Refresh. Fires off a shot, and already you can see North have gained so much ground here in towards jungle. The CTs are in really weird positions right now. I don't know what the hell is going on here. You can see Tricked just holding so passively. They're going to give up so much ground on towards the site, and I think North have realised they have full control of A right now. What on earth is going on here? Tricked are holding so incredibly safe so far. They need to gain control back of that A site because you can already see the bomb is making its way over. And Tricked are just going to have to retake if they're not careful here. They do at least have the defuse kit, and there goes Refresh to open things up. The USPs are still doing the job, even though they weren't able to hold the A site. They're fragging out up until this point. A man advantage turned even better as Insta gets a kill, but there's AZ to bring it back to a 3-on-2. Here comes Lucky trying to hold off the diffuser. Cajun gets a kill in the meantime, but there goes Lucky. Trades back and forth, and Console gets off the diffuse just in time to take down Cajun. And I'm very impressed that Console had the sort of frame of mind to get off that diffuse and be confident he could land a shot. Because with that diffuse kit in his hands, he can't have been far off that diffuse coming through. And without the Kevlar, you are always a little bit sort of worried that aim punch might become a factor if an opponent lands a shot on towards you. However, instead, he is, you know, happy to just get off the diffuse and try and land that first shot, and he does just that. Nerves of steel there in the one-on-one from Console. He may be called Console, but he certainly doesn't play like a console gamer, that's for sure. Either way, North get an early kill in this round. They've decided to go for the Force. Wow, I didn't quite see this. They've gone for the 2 AKs, dropped over to the players with the Kevlar, and look at how it's working for them so far. Valdo and Config find a kill each, and those AKs are making all the difference here. As the bomb will go down towards the site, Tricked are forced to try and retake. Refresh does dish out a bit of damage, but you can see North are quite well set up now. They're all the way back in towards A ramp, ready to look towards the bomb. There is Config, though, going down. That's one of the AKs dropped. MSL looks to recover it, but that costs him his life. In the meantime, Valdo's been running all the way back around towards mid to try and deny the defuse, but he goes down. Lucky with a great frame of mind there to realise a player could be all the way out towards mid. And now Cajun on just 13 HP seems like he doesn't want anything to do with this one. He just allows Trick to defuse the bomb. And North, despite doing a great job at gaining control of the A site early, they get the bomb down in a great position. Tricked also do an equally good job on the retake. I'm very impressed with Lucky there. That third shot was so quick. Valda didn't even have a chance to try and really do anything. And that was really the key kill in that round, it has to be said. I'm also a fan of what Valda did there. I think running all the way back around mid to try and watch the bomb from there, even when you were on the A site at the start, you know, I think that's certainly a good idea, especially when you've got 5 teammates all alive. And clearly you can feel pretty happy that, you know, they're not going to just die off instantly and the defuse will come through before you get there. So I like the idea from Valda. Come a couple of kills at the start. Ooh, nice shot from Refresh. Just config and AZ left, so should be quite an easy clean up, although a double dink from AZ gets him a kill. And there's a FAMAS in his hands. I don't think he'll be able to do too much with it though. They are making their way towards the site here, and Tricked are playing this one incredibly safe. Maybe a little bit too passively here from Tricked, because they don't want to risk the bomb going down. North would certainly love a bit of extra money for the buy into the next round. See AZ still holding and seeing if someone strays out a bit too far on the CT side. Seems like, however, Config might just try and go for the bomb plant here. He's got a smoke actually picked up, so he can smoke off CT. The spray comes through, but Config just commits to the bomb plant. And Tricked play way too passive. Allow the bomb plant to come through, and North will already take this round as a win, I think. Just getting the bomb plant alone is great for them. The nade's going to come through. Config goes for some well-timed aggression. There is Insta, though, to have his teammates back, leaving just AZ left, and he will go down. However, still, North happily gain the bomb plant and happily gain some extra money for this coming round. As you can already see, their cash is looking quite strong. As is the Tricked side of things, who also have 3 rifles saved. But yeah, North were much more worried about making sure their own money was as good as possible. And now Cajun will get to have an AWP with full nades, you know, Kevlar and helmet. Great stuff for him. Why you stream on YouTube and not Twitch? The community caster challenge thing, like, is really cool. Basically, if you stream it on YouTube, then they pick like 2 casters to go down to face it and do some of the ECS games. So yeah, that's really something I want to do, and you have to stream on YouTube for that, I think. So Easy gets 2 quick kills there, and oh, Valda, great Molotov. You saw Rixo was there in towards CT, stuck behind the box. He didn't want to risk trying to fall back to safety because there was a gap in the smoke. And that meant that North were just able to get the free kill. Ooh, AZ lands a few more shots, because he's already got the 2 entries in the round, and he clearly still wants a little bit more. It's going to be Refresh and Console left, and already you can see they're not really moving towards the site that quickly, so this already might be a save. And indeed, they will slowly but surely make their way back to safety. So North do win this all-important gun round. However, there's Refresh to get an exit kill. Remember though, North had already got some extra money in the bank, thanks to that bomb plant in that previous round, sorry. And it looks like AZ will be safe, saving the AWP at the end there. So both teams save a little bit for the coming round. And actually, wow, I was looking at the North money, but really we need to look at the Tricked economy, because those 2 guns being saved at the end there were actually really important. You can already see, without those 2 guns saved, they wouldn't have really had anything in this round. They will now have full rifles for the entirety of the team though, so that's always a positive, including an AWP for Rixo, I think. There we go, he gets it eventually. Looks like North themselves are still going to go for an A execute quite quickly here. Seems like a few players are also towards mid, so they will look to split this site. And there is already Valda to actually swing out and get the first headshot. In the meantime, Config's been boosted up into window, and this has to be a kill, but no! Console actually expects it. Really nice methodical play there from Console, and surely Rixo, no! How did he not spot that man out? Oh, that could be disastrous. As Lucky does get 2 kills from the site, that might just do enough to slow things down. Cajun's still trying to make his way forward. The AWP is not exactly the best gun for this position, and as Rixo finds another kill, that leaves Cajun 1 on 3, but he finds that first kill without any opportunity for Console to trade. So now in a 1 on 2, if he could land some quick shots, this isn't out of the question entirely. But with the bomb being out in the open, that makes things really awkward. Ooh, wow, Cajun has a smoke. That makes it a lot easier now. Smoke goes down. He manages to nullify one of the opponent's positions. And now, if he can land a shot on towards Console, he's got a chance, but I'm not sure he knows exactly there's a player there. Instead, he's just happy to recover the bomb and go for the plant, but oh, that is brutal. Console just takes Cajun's face off straight through the box. You hate to see that. But sometimes, you know, the wallbangs just line up for you. And Tricked take the 12-8 lead, and more importantly, again, North now are slightly on the back foot in terms of money. Quite a back and forth start to this second half. You can already see, I mean, just at the start here, a ton of bomb plants for North. And neither of these sides wants to commit to an eco just yet, as North will just have 3 AKs to work with. But they still think that's good enough to win the round. So North slow things down a little bit, but Insta wants to speed things up as he goes aggressive. And that MP9 catches AZ out. He only had a pistol, so that was always going to be in favour of the MP9. Now as the push comes towards the site, oh, that flashbang slows things down really, really well. Still plenty of time for North, however. Tricked have done a pretty damn good job at slowing things down at least. They haven't really rotated any players off of B just yet, so you can see again Trick's playing passively on towards A. They're just going to let the bomb go down. However, they do have Insta in towards Palace, who can still pounce like a panther whenever he needs to. Either way, North still have the 3 AKs to use here after the bomb is planted. And Tricked are really taking this one slowly. They are going to have to move very, very quickly back towards the site. Still, the bomb is ticking away, and still no movements from Tricked. Finally, Refresh opens things up, but there goes a couple of kills for North in reply. Down to a 3v3. Spray comes through, trades back and forth, just up to Refresh here, who's trying to move back in, but there is Valda to shut him out. And North managed to win that round, and that was, again, a hugely important round for them, because now Tricked themselves are broken in terms of their money. And that really was what could be the round that really allows sort of North to start this comeback strong. Tricked at least buy up pistols here in this round number 22. I don't think they will have too much of a chance, even with the pistols bought up. At the same time, they have decided to take a little bit of a risk, hoping that the 4-man stack towards the B site will see some action. Couple of smokes coming up early on, a minute left on the clock. And North look to be going towards the A site for the most part, in towards Connector, although the bomb of MSL is over towards B. He needs to make sure he does not hit that B site. There's no real need for him to, but actually no, the rest of the team is coming back towards B now. Ooh, this could become a bit tasty now for Tricked, so they have the chance for some kills here. He comes out, Rixo gets the 1 kill, but oh, Cajun just finds those headshots. Finally, though, he goes down, and it's back to a 2-on-2, and Refresh opens things up with the CZ. It's all up to AZ 1v2, but he finds that second headshot. Surviving on just 7 HP to win the round for his team. Again, though, from North's perspective, that I'm sure was much closer than they were anticipating before the round began. Trick did a great job at the start there of, you know, playing positions where they could sort of bait each other in, bait the opponents in, and then, you know, peek out themselves and sort of catch the opponents off guard. But still, the superior weaponry for North came out on top. And now with just default pistols mostly for Tricked, seems like North should bring us back to a very close scoreline. It feels like this one could go down to the wire. Still, North happy to take the start of the round slowly, because that's what's been working for them for the most part so far. However, they do need to make sure. I would like to see them sort of probe towards a site before they hit it, because I'm sure they don't want to run into a stack again. So it would be nice for them to, you know, start to go for some information plays, start to go for some sort of pushes. However, it seems like North are happy here to just commit on towards this A site. That does seem to be the correct decision, because it's only lucky here. So one kill is all they need to fully gain control and gain the bomb plant. Again, this is basically what you'd expect in this round. Ooh. Config nearly shoots his teammate, but just about misses. Ooh. Rixo finds a couple of shots on that tight angle, but again, not really too much to be said about this round at this point. Although Rixo is still landing these shots. Valda himself tries to get the angle right. Bit of an awkward fight there over towards that vent, but eventually North realised the position well. And this is what I'm a big fan of here. There's no need for them to stray out in towards, you know, this area of the map where they have no information really. They just fall back towards ramp where they came from, towards top mid, and happily just save their guns, because there's not really anything they are worried about Tricked saving there, you know. Tricked are just basically saving some pistols. It's really not important to hunt those down. And North are much more worried about their own money, which is certainly still vulnerable. So good to see they save all their guns. Smart play from North to make that decision. And okay, we have to follow this smoke. Where's this going, Valda? Okay, it goes in towards short. Oh, I forgot this happens. Sometimes when you do that camera trick of following the smoke through, you get stuck in the smoke until it fades. So we'll be stuck here for a little bit. I'll bring up the map for the time being. Looks like mid control has come through. There we go. The smoke fades and we don't miss any action. So Insta is the man holding towards mid in window. He's currently smoked off, but AZ is boosted up here. So we could be seeing a fight go through any second. And Insta reacts to the fading smoke first. As Refresh also comes over to help his buddy out for another kill. And now Cajun is going to try and get something done on the A site. And you can already see he's peeking out and realizing there's very little presence from Trick towards A. And to be honest, I think I'd like to see North just go for smoke executes towards the A site, because you can see just how passively Tricked are playing here. Like, this is insanity, you know? I know they've seen some action towards B already, but you've got two players still towards A. You have to hold a little bit more aggressively than this. I guess they're a bit scared of the mid play coming in, but that will come through momentarily. And North should just be able to get the bomb down without any real contention from Tricked here. 30 seconds left, still no reaction from Tricked. The bomb will go down. Now they'll have to get back into position to try and retake, but oh, nice spray down from Console. He gets the angle correct. And that just might make this too difficult now for North. Even though they get the bomb down, there's only two players left to try and defend it. Config tries to win the fight towards mid, but he goes down. Cajun 1-on-5, show us what you're made of, friend. He's not quite made of magic. He is a mere mortal. And that allows Lucky to finish him off. So Trick, despite playing passively on the A site there, which is a little bit risky, the spray down from Console I think really made the big difference there. He sprays the planter through the box, gets that kill, and that really made it so much more comfortable for Tricked after that point. And now at 13-11, feels like Tricked might just be in the driver's seat here. We do still see North with a buy though, so hold the phone a second, because this one certainly isn't over just yet. Not quite the full nades for North, but they seem to be lining up a B execute. It seems like the key man might be Console. He's played quite well up until this point. Let's see if he can continue. He's forced out by the flames. That was actually his teammate's Molotov in towards that position. And the flash works perfectly for North to get the opening and the second one. Config goes in first, happily to gain 2 kills. And it seems like North were aware there was a player stuck in the smoke as Valda found that frag. And North just explode on towards that B site, thanks to Valda pushing through so quickly. Oh wow, Rixo surely should have gone down to AZ there, but he just swings around after landing the jump to find the kill. Have to feel like AZ whiffed a few shots there, but still, you've got to give credit to Rixo, who managed to land a shot. Oh, and there goes Lucky for another kill. So North, not that worried about their own money here. They're hunting down very aggressively, trying to deny Tricked, and wow, Config is so quick on that flick. That just leaves Lucky trying to save the AK. They're going to push him down. Lucky, here's the player pushing, but Valda is just too damn quick. And you can see why North were trying to hunt it down, because even though their money isn't exactly great, more importantly, they have reset Tricked's economy quite hard here. And I think Trick just have to go for one big eco on this round and trying to be able to afford a buy round, possibly into round number 27. But even that is a bit debatable as to whether or not that's realistic. There goes Valda, finding Lucky, who went for some aggression in towards Palace. There are 2 Trick players still towards this site, but Valda is just so quick with their headshots, as are the rest of North, as the AKs find headshots all across the board, just leaving console left. So this round going as expected, as we will head back to a 13-13 scoreline. And there we go, AZ finishes it off. And this one, again, these teams just cannot be separated. It has to be said. We'll take a quick look at the scoreboard to show that AZ is the man leading the way, but certainly no one massively ahead in terms of frags. I guess the one player sort of lagging behind a little bit would be MSL, but I think that's to be expected, considering he provides value elsewhere for the team in his, sort of in-game leading and tactical approach. Also, I guess it's worth pointing out, Valda, the recent addition to North, still doing quite well. He's been pretty damn consistent for North so far. Good to see him getting back into the CS action. Pete comes out, ooh, Cage, and trying to win that opening fight, but Rixo is too quick on the trigger finger. Could be overwhelmed though as the players are pushing through from mid, but Insta finds a kill. There's Rixo for another frag, and this round is over incredibly quickly. Rixo finds 3, Insta finds 2 with his UMP, and that round is over. And now 14-13 in favor of Tricked. It's not quite the money broken from North though, who will still have a buy. But now this round number 28 is really going to be the most important round up until this point. You can feel the tension starting to build a little bit for both of these players, because this round really makes all the difference. And already you might see some mistakes come through, as Console a little bit nervy on the B hold there, standing in the flames a little bit too long. Seems like right now AZ is over in towards Palace, while the rest of his team gain control of mid. And North have done this round after round with the varying levels of success, Fairly often they gain mid control quite easily. And then they try and hit towards the site with it, but Trick still managed to do a good job at holding. So let's see how it goes in this specific round. Caden chucks the bomb down to Valda, who's in towards Connector, so it seems like it's likely to be an A play again. And this time there is a player actually holding towards the site. It's Lucky in behind this box, which is kind of an awkward position to play in towards that sort of ninja area. And the push is already coming through towards the site. However, Tricked are getting bodies towards this area of the map, and there goes Lucky, making his position known as he gets a kill. And that also allowed Insta to peek out from CT and hold a nice crossfire for a frag of his own. So the bomb is stuck on towards the A site, and North need to do something now, and they will do something. Specifically, Cajun will do something, getting a kill, and you can already see, as the bomb is recovered, the Trick players are all the way back in towards CT. MSL gets sprayed through, but he is able to survive on half HP. And now it's a 3-on-3 retake with all 3 Tricked players being back in towards CT. They're going to need to gain ground quickly here. They need to push forwards and start to clear out some positions. You can see they're nervy in doing so. Molotov comes through, Insta gets the first kill. The smoke will go over towards the bomb, but AZ is in still a strong position, and I don't know if they'll expect him here. There's the first kill for AZ, and Tricked just seem to be crumbling now. They don't know what to do. Finally, they try and defuse it again, but they just line up for AZ, who sprays them both down. And we are not done yet, folks. 14-14. However, now Tricked themselves might really be in trouble. They will go for the buy, but this is not going to be perfect. 1 AWP, 1 FAMAS, and other than that, just some UMPs and a Deagle. So it's going to be quite heavily on Insta in this round. What can this AWP do? Looks like he's going to be solo holding the B site, and that might just be where North decide to push towards, because a quick look at the minimap shows they are grouped up heavily towards this position. And Insta surely spotted those players crossing towards there. The shot is rattled off. Insta is forced back. In the meantime, it's Refresh to get the first kill, and here comes the AWP of Insta finding a frag. Trade comes back, but Refresh is going to flash through the smokes, and that allows him a quick kill. And it looks like now it's just Cajun left alive. And out of nowhere, Tricked are going to win this round, and they are the ones that have the chance to close out the map win right here, right now. The weak buy doesn't even matter, because North try to catch Tricked off guard with a quick push. And the AWP was ready to hold it off to slow it down quite well and allow the Trick players to rotate really quickly. Nice response there from Tricked. Nice quick response to, realize it was likely to be a quick B play after the smokes came through. And you kind of saw there what the reaction was to the B smokes coming in. Flashing through it seemed to work quite well, especially flashing through that smoke when your teammates are already taking some fights and already preoccupying some of the terrorists that are pushing through. I think that's the key to sort of countering those 2 smokes. And you saw Tricked do that very thing. Quick look at the kills across the board, and AZ again is fragging really quite well, up there at 30 kills now. 1 more kills than how many rounds we've played so far. And I think this was a tactical pause from North. You can see MSL called it, sorry, so I wouldn't be surprised. And it certainly makes sense, because you can see their money was questionable. I like the fact that they have, plenty of time to just make sure they buy up everything they need. So you can see, they had the time to discuss if they wanted to buy a Molotov. They could have done that rather than buying nades, but they decide they would rather have the smokes, the flashes, and the HEs. And now, here we go, round number 30, and this is it. North are going to have to win with just 2 rifles just to give us overtime. Tricked are on the verge of an upset victory in this first map here. Insta gets naded down low, and North are going for an incredibly quick A play this time. This is unprecedented here. AZ gets the first, Config finds one, MSL finds one, and this might just be overtime, because they are finding frags all across the board. It's just Console left. He gets 1 kill, but still 3 more to find. They're going to double peek him. That gave Console possibly the chance, but just too difficult to do at that point. And Tricked just were not expecting that sort of aggression in a round that North had to win to keep themselves alive. And to be fair, it's hard to predict your opponents to do something so sort of risky in such a, really important round. So I'm kind of not surprised that Tricked weren't ready for such a fast play. But good call from North to realise that the quick A plays have been working quite well, that Tricked have been playing quite passively on A. And it works out for them. Here comes the smoke from Cajun. I think that's over towards jungle. In the meantime, the rest of his team are leaning towards B, but certainly nothing is guaranteed just yet. In the meantime, Tricked themselves go for a bit of aggression, with Insta pushing up close in towards A ramp, having some support from his teammate. But as the flash comes through, I think they will realise there's nothing really terms of North players over towards this A side of the map. Flash forces Rixo off the angle. But in the meantime, his teammate who's trying to help him out goes down. And now Rixo has so much to do. He does land the one shot. Oh, there's a second kill, but finally he falls, leaving just Lucky left 1 on 2. Bomb will go down. Lucky might as well go for this one because we are into overtime. So the money isn't as much of a factor. But Cajun manages to land that shot over towards Kitchen, and North themselves will take the slight edge into their favor now. 16-15, and here comes the buy from Tricked, and they take a bit of a risk here. Double Orbs now bought up, and Rixo even buys one without Kevlar. So certainly a gamble here from Tricked, because if they lose this one now, their money is going to be so poor that North would almost certainly cruise to victory. In comes the flash. North seem to be lining up the A play, but Lucky is having none of it as he finds the first kill. Here comes the push. Lucky is blinded up, but MSL goes down before he can really get out through the smoke. So as the push comes through, this is looking good for Tricked. Lucky, though, in the middle of the smoke, actually goes down. However, Rixo is still towards the site. Not for much longer, though, as Valda shuts him down. Back to a 2-on-3. Valda goes for a fake plant, but doesn't expect Console to be in towards CT. So it's just Cajun left 1-on-3. And with the AWP, this is not going to be an easy feat. He can't even get the first shot through as Insta takes his head clean off, and we're back to a 16-16 scoreline. And remember, in this overtime, the first team to 19 rounds would take the win. Unless we finish at 18-18, in which case we would play another overtime until one team finally has enough round wins. And that round for Trick does mean they now have the money, of course, so the double AWPs will continue, whereas Cajun has just the single AWP on the North side of things. Now comes the peek, and Insta misses that opening shot, allowing Cajun the easy first frag of this third round of the first half of overtime. MSL goes down as the push comes through connector. So Rixo himself finds one with the AWP, but just look at Lucky. He was not expecting that push to come through. Almost seems like Rixo did not communicate that whatsoever, that he was not holding that angle. And now North will get the bomb down on towards A, and that one kill might just make all the difference, as North should almost certainly win this round from this point onwards. You can see Console's just standing behind the smoke, but the time is ticking away. They need to start to move in for the retake here. Smoke comes through from Cajun to try and keep himself safe, and he rattles off a shot, but Console surely will push through that smoke momentarily. Instead, Rixo finds the first kill already. The time is ticking down, though. Even though they're getting the kills, I'm not sure they have time for the defuse, especially now that Valda gets the one kill. There's another one coming in, and Rixo trying to stick the defuse, but realizes that's not a possibility. Attempts to go for the frags, and that's not going to happen either. And Tricked really took a lot of time on that retake there. I thought they might have been better off if they moved in a bit quicker, because you saw it was very panicked towards the end there, it certainly felt like. Just kind of desperately trying to get a defuse in the midst of the smoke. And North were quite well positioned to just deny it in the post-plant positions they had already taken up after the bomb was gone down. Either way, North elect to go for double AWPs themselves as the push comes towards mid. AZ caught out in the open. He has got Cajun for support to get the one and the second shot. That's a great flick from Cajun. And he's also got MSL to support him, who finds a frag himself. Push comes out. Rixo lands the all-important shot to keep Tricked's hopes at this round win alive. But as Config comes up through underground, having pushed out through B-apps, you have to feel like Tricked are in trouble here. Here goes Config. Will he check the corner? Oh no, he didn't spot out the gun barrel there. He switches over to the USP. Rixo gets a kill. Oh, Rixo gets another kill as Config goes down up close. And out of nowhere, Tricked have swung it back into their favor, as it's just Cajun himself now left 1v2. The bomb will go down towards B. And Cajun so many times has been forced to try and clutch it for his team at disadvantageous positions. And I don't think this is one he will be winning. Cajun moving towards the site. Trying to get any sort of information as he gets that first shot, but now he has no idea where Rixo is. He goes for the kill. Rixo's blinded, but Cajun pulls out the incendiary to try and play it that way instead. Rixo is burning alive. He's down so low, and Cajun finds the headshot. 4 kills for Cajun bring North up to an 18-16 scoreline, and now they have 2 chances to close out this map right here, right now. Okay, I think I called that one a little bit early because that defuse was hella close. But it is indeed Cajun B to clutch it. And North to get ever closer to that magic number 19. So as the overtime continues, the pressure builds, especially for the tricked players now. They had the chance to close it out in regulation. They didn't do so. And now they have to win 2 rounds in a row just to stay alive here in overtime. You can see they have the AWP in the hands of Rixo. And more importantly, they have many players over towards B. Valda's holding this off angle, which is played fairly frequently, but he's got config for support, which could make a real difference. Because oftentimes teams don't expect 2 players to be properly committed to the B site. Insta gets a kill over towards connector, and config I think spotted out the opponents. This time he certainly did. He decides to fall back, but here comes Valda. The flash is perfect for him to get 2 kills, but the push continues. Can config hold off the site for long enough? Push comes out. Config finds 1, and it's only refresh left. And config is more than up for the task to win it for his team. 19-16 in favor of North as they take this map into their favor. And I think, unfortunately, that's going to be me done for the day, because something's come up, so I don't think I'll be able to cover the second map. If you do want to see that second map, I believe it's going to be also done over on Tea Time's channel and some other guys in this caster challenge. So yeah, make sure to check one of those out. And other than that, yeah, if you enjoyed my casting, I would always appreciate it if you subscribed on Twitch. Twitch? This is YouTube. Oh my god. Subscribed on YouTube if you want to see more. And other than that, yeah, thanks for watching. Not too much else to say, really. Really great game. Really fun game to watch. So hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And other than that, I will see you another time. Peace.